Excited? You excited, Dave?
I'm excited. And speaking of GL, thank you to Gamer Legion for hosting us here in this wonderful venue. And we're into game number 1. We've got VortiX playing as the HRE, like we said, and DeMusliM playing as the Chinese. So DeMuslim's going to need to deny those relics coming in. You said it before. We saw this matchup with MarineLorD. He did such a good job as Chinese, sniping those prelates as they come out and getting that map control early.
Yeah, now we already begin to see some new additions to the overlay. You guys will see up towards the top of your screen, underneath those upgrades, there is going to be a military counter. So we can see that there is a prelate, we can see that there are 2 scouts, and we can see that over on the other side, we've got a scout and an imperial official.
Lots of sheep already coming in for DeMusliM here. He's got the mill at the back, and he's supervising that, as you do with the Chinese. And let's take a look at the map from VortiX. Where are these relics positioned?
He's going to be pretty happy with this. So we can see that he's got very strong relics here. So typically on this map, you can see relics out towards those edges, but here we've got the one in the center, another one a little bit close to the center here as well. Going to be very difficult to stop him getting that.
This could play against him, though. If the forward Barbican comes down,
that's a great point.
The prelates are going to struggle to go get those ones in the middle.
Especially if we see DeMusliM coming out with control and he knows that he's needing to control that early game. I'd be very surprised to see him go to age 3 without putting on that early pressure. But we'll watch, we'll wait, we'll see. He might have something up his sleeve for us.
There's also a lot of room to play in the middle. Like, the cliffs are quite far to the edge. Sometimes we see the rocks really blocking and funneling up into that middle area, so maybe that benefits VortiX when he's trying to go out and snag those. He does have that free one to the right side, and so does DeMusliM over to the left. But like we said before, the other 3 kind of in the middle might be difficult for him to get. We'll see what DeMusliM attempts to do here. It seems like not the best Civ matchup to just sit back with Chinese and boom up with your eco.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. You have to be a bit more reactive in this situation. Now, we are aware that there's a little bit of sound coming through on the stream at the moment, so we'll aim to get that fixed for you guys shortly, but be aware we are aware, so we'll try and get that one fixed up. But now we can begin to see that the landmarks are going to start going down. VortiX going to be heading towards that Archon Chapel, and a pretty decent Archon Chapel here as well.
Yeah, he gets the wood, he gets his town center, he gets the gold. Does not have the hunt or the berries included in that, so that's unfortunate for him. They're both at the back, but they're safe at the back of his base, so I guess that's good enough.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent Archon Chapel. I'd probably say maybe like a 7 out of 10. You'd love to get those berries, you'd love to get that deer in there, but as you mentioned, towards the base, or towards the back of the base, nice and safe. Sometimes we do see players go for this kind of juicy Archon Chapel, but obviously with the way that it's spawned out, there's no real chance of that happening because the tree lines are so far away.
God, I love these units on the field on our overlay.
Yeah.
It's so useful, not only for the viewers, if you're tuning in, you know, you can't follow and have to go away for 20 seconds or a minute or something to come back and see the status of the game, but for us as casters, because as everyone knows, we're blind.
We are.
Most of the time.
Legally
we get
blind.
so tunnel visioned on things. So this is fantastic. And there's a villager already from DeMusliM heading out to the middle of the map, but he's intercepted by the scout from VortiX.
Yeah, so already a little bit of shenanigans coming in here. VortiX making the smart play to go for that second scout and using it very aggressively in the early game. And we already see that there's not going to be a Barbican coming down, but rather an Imperial Academy in the base of DeMusliM here. So this is already a little bit of a, I guess it's something that you don't always see, and it's such a great position as well. Yep. You can see where his Imperial official is standing. He's not going to need to worry at all about returning that gold or walking back, but now it looks like wall's going up, Dave.
Wall's going up at the side, and I wonder if he's planning on making his military productions back near that Imperial Academy, or if he's planning on going for a later Barbican.
Yeah,
somewhere in the middle.
That could be an option. We do see players loving to go for that fast Song Dynasty. So that could be something that we see, but VortiX now reaching the feudal age. We'll have a look and see what he goes into from here. At the moment, you can see not really spending a lot of, or not really saving up a lot of his resource, rather than just using it. We'll take a look at his base and see if there's any military production that's going down at the moment. Doesn't look like it. But there is a mill on the back line. Is there professional scouts coming through here? There is professional scouts coming through. So playing it a little bit safer. Often you will see Holy Roman Empire players look to skip this and instead just try and focus on getting up to the third age as quickly as possible, but obviously not today.
This could backfire, though. If he doesn't have map control, by the time he gets to the third age, the prelates are going to be very exposed. So I wonder what state he's going to be when he gets there. Obviously, he'll have the safe food from professional scouts, but if your prelates can't make it out to the relics, then you're going to lack that gold income.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And Dave, I'd love to make another good point. Earlier, you heard a little bit of static in your headset. The players or viewers on the stream would have heard it as well. I suspect that might actually be the sizzling pork that's coming in.
I can smell that.
Doesn't it smell amazing?
It always happens.
Oh my God.
The very first game.
Well, you just got to delay it 10 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
Make it a little bit faster.
Why are you torturing us like
Oh
this?
my gosh, it's so good. So big shout out once again to Anchor Kraut. Those spices just smell... Oh my God, they're so damn good. Oh gosh. All right. All right, sellout over, but seriously, that's not even a sellout. That just smells amazing.
That's a smell out right there.
Jeez, Dave. Now we're going to see that Barbican come down. Look at this. The villagers go marching 5 by 5. So this is quite interesting because we saw that early villager come out before it was chased away by the scout. Now we've actually got that one villager peeling off towards the north, a second lot of villagers here, the 4 coming down with that Barbican.
I love this play.
It's so
Honestly,
smart.
I love this play because you get the academy at the back, and then you set up your production buildings around it. You can tax the production buildings back there, and then you can go forward with your Barbican later because you suspect that he's not going to have any serious pressure in the middle of the map in the second age playing his HRE.
And it's so smart, and this is part of the reason why we talk about that hyperbolic time chamber, where players are sort of evolving and learning the meta sooner, because it seems to be very, very common that players are looking to do this, even in practice games. So it's great watching it unfold, great watching it happen. VortiX playing very greedy
Look at
here.
the other wall in the corner from DeMusliM.
Oh, this is so smart. If he can get this up, he delays that relic from being picked up because that is considered to be a safe relic. That is a gimme. That is one that he should have for free. So if he manages to do that, I suspect he could probably get 5, 6 walls up.
That is a market from VortiX.
That is interesting. Yeah, just a little bit up to the north there. Very curious, a market. Now, is he suspecting? No, he's just done a little bit of trading here. I think because he doesn't have the gold. He can't get the gold, so he's sold off the food. That's what it was.
And there's emergency repairs. I thought the mining camp was going to go down. I always forget about emergency repairs. VortiX did not. He's much, much better than me, and he's going to save that mining camp. And now a barracks going down right beside that academy. See how he's just placing them around there so he can get that production income from them.
Yeah, this is really smart. I got to say, watching DeMusliM play the Chinese makes me want to play the Chinese.
Yep.
And, you know, it's been hard as a Chinese main to say that recently because they weren't feeling the best. But obviously the new buffs make it look great. When you see DeMusliM, the way he plays it, it looks great. It looks really strong. And now going to be able to chase back some of these scouts that were looking to be a bit more professional down towards the south, but not having a lot of luck.
Yep, and the Great Wall of China coming down across the middle. That is a very long wall, and that's going to secure another 2 relics. So with that wall complete on the right side, did it ever get completed on the edge of the map? I think I saw a villager running back. Yep, it's complete. With that wall there, the wall over here denying the relic in the left corner, and the wall in the middle denying those 2.
Look at these cheeky prelates. The prelates being sent
sneaky.
out.
They're sneaky, but then they have to go all the way back around if they want to reach the base, and the horsemen are still there. Still, great move from VortiX to go out early with those prelates.
Yeah, very smart. You can see he's doing a bit of a loop around towards that edge, but we've got our villager that's going to get taken out here, so it looks like he was coming up for a counter wall. There's plenty of horsemen out here on the map as well. Now, keep in mind, VortiX up in that third age. Going to be looking to have some knights out shortly. That prelate is looking very, very concerning. Does DeMusliM come in for the snipe? You can see he's moving in. The Walla about to go off. There it goes. So
it's so weak, though.
Oh,
it's
no,
so
no.
Weak.
He's going to look.
It's low HP. Oh. The prelate was so low HP. I think it might have gotten hit by the Barbican.
Oh, my gosh. I had a little bit of a heart attack right there. It could have been a good game in a second. But fortunately, DeMusliM paying a bit more attention. But what is this prelate doing?
He's behind enemy lines.
He's behind enemy lines. I feel like we've got to send a chopper. But he never actually picked up that relic. And now he's going to be walking towards that Barbican. You can see he's just sitting up there idly for the moment, falling back towards that Barbican. He does pick up his second relic towards that front line.
Yep. But I think DeMuslim's going to shift all his horsemen over to that left relic now because the wall is up towards the Barbican. He can feel pretty comfortable about it. Shift it all over there and limit your enemy to 1 relic. You know he can't get the 1 behind your wall. You know he can't get the one in the top left corner. I think this is the time where you start focusing on the one to the left of Vortex's economy.
This prelate is going on a mission. Take a look at this prelate up towards the north.
Is he going looping all the way around to that top left corner? Imagine.
There's no way. He's not going to be doing it with a wolf on him, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not looking pretty. But look at this, the prelate gets picked up mid-transition. So we can see right here that DeMusliM just doesn't have the forces to take on his enemy. There's 3 knights out for VortiX right now. DeMusliM actually going to be going up behind this. It looks like a pretty decent timing here, Dave.
And
11
look at the villager
minutes.
count too.
Villager count
with
is
wheelbarrow
massive. Yeah,
as well.
Great point. So already an 11 villager difference coming out here. Now that other prelate coming out. Look how many prelates have gone down this game. It's going to be 2, 3.
Yep. And even is that a villager carrying some gold coming around as well? Looks like VortiX going for a little bit of counter raiding there, but the spearman at home from DeMusliM. Remember, he added that barracks in pretty early, so should be able to continue production there and save some of his eco. He's also producing at a faster rate, so 44 villagers for him, plus wheelbarrow, only 32 for VortiX. He's bringing in a second relic, though.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get a bit more tricky. So typically you want to avoid letting the Holy Roman Empire get that second relic. But now that they've picked it up, it makes it a little bit harder for the Chinese player to actually have a successful result this game. He's going to be able to utilize that gold and transition into the Imperial Age. You can see there's already a significant mass built up here of these units, and coming in gets a great charge off, taking out a scout and 2 horsemen. There's going to be a single villager that remains, but now got to be careful not to lose those. Some spears also coming out, but there's just so many knights here, Dave.
Yeah, the TC is attacking, though, and the spearmen are there. The production is going. I think he's got 3 barracks now, production from the spearmen, so 4 in the queue currently. So DeMusliM should be able to defend that gold position at the front if he keeps up the production. VortiX, though, providing pressure, and behind this, like you said, he's bringing in that second relic. So he's gonna, I guess he has, what, 10 villagers, 14 villagers or something?
Yep, yeah, about that.
In the relics, basically?
Yeah, 15 villagers in the relics there. So to be fair, DeMusliM probably sitting on about the same amount, considering he does already have that wheelbarrow. We see wheelbarrow coming through for VortiX here, a very important upgrade. Prelate going to be moving out once again. Look at this, the Barbican getting off some decent shots. He's got to be careful. He actually does go down. That's going to be the
snipers
4th prelate.
In there.
Yeah, geez.
Absolute snipers in there. Not only did he weaken the Wallalo monk from before, but took that prelate down. Walls now coming up from DeMusliM. He had the right idea, but I think it's just a little bit too late.
Oh, he hits the wood line. That's a nice little gap, and actually drops off that wolf on the wall as well. He says there's not going to be any walls coming up over here, and those villagers having to evacuate. Now towards the front line, he's hitting in multiple positions. We see a nest of bees firing off as well, Dave.
Yeah, nest of bees behind in defense. Spearman still coming out, but only 1 in the queue currently. The others are defending at home. We can see he's got 10 spearmen thanks to our wonderful overlay here. Now down to 9. DeMusliM might also lose that nest of bees. No, he's coming to repair.
Yeah, Villager's going to be able to out-heal the DPS of the Knights there. Unfortunately, not enough. Yeah, Spear's going to be coming in. Looking pretty decent.
I wonder if he's on stone for a keep or if he's on stone for additional TCs, because before the Knights came in, he was on stone with a lot of villagers there.
Yeah, I suspect it might be a little bit of both, because he's going to be aware that his enemy is probably going to be heading up to Imperial in the next minute or 2. We can see the resources that VortiX has got in the bank, and that gold is really starting to trickle in. He's still only got 2 relics.
Might have food issues, though. How many carcasses does he have under the TC still? Did he go double market, VortiX?
Oh my lord, it's a double market. I haven't seen this since Age of Empires 3. This was a classic strategy back there where people would just unfortunately misplay.
He's probably kicking himself.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst. You go double blacksmith, double market. You're like, hey, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
I already made one of those.
Happens to the best of us, because, I mean, he typically he wouldn't be thinking about that first market that he made, because he made it for a different reason.
Because he never make it in H2, really.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really difficult position for him now. He's going to be trying his best to secure that 3rd relic, but you can see DeMuslim's got such good control.
The food eco is so rough for VortiX.
Yeah.
Like, I think he ran out of carcasses, still has 2 there. He ran out of the berries there. He's going back to the carcasses, but he's going to have to get some farms set up. He's going to have to move somewhere else if he wants to go up to the 4th age. It's going to cost him a lot of time, and I think he's figured that out. he's just investing his gold now into production units.
It feels like he might actually be looking to play H3, which I have to say is a bit of a mistake. You can still definitely
I think
win.
it was responsive to his food count.
It probably was, just simply not having the food to get himself up to Imperial. But yeah, in this position here, it's not the best for VortiX, let's be real. He's had a great map spawn, he's had a great matchup. Everything has gone in his favor, but DeMusliM is playing this very well.
Yeah, but look at the villager count now. The raids have accomplished a lot for VortiX. DeMusliM is constantly running around. He's retreating again with, what, 20 villagers over there or something?
Yeah, we saw a little bit of an esports head shake as well. Up towards that position, if we can just go up towards that berry patch, you'll see the wall never actually got completed. So the wall is sitting there empty, and he went, oh, you know, that never should have even happened because that wall should have been built.
Yep.
It's down, but it's one of those classic bugs that happens, and obviously he appreciates that it's going to cost him a lot of resources.
Lots of units coming across the field now for DeMusliM. We see 24 spearmen there. We got 7 palace guards, a nest of bees, and meanwhile for VortiX we have 4 knights and 13 men-at-arms.
Yeah, so a bit of a man-at-arms switch here, which I think is smart. Obviously, Nest of Bees came out for DeMusliM. He's going to be responding by going for his own palace guards, but you've got to be so careful up against the Holy Roman Empire. If we take a look at the men-at-arms for the Holy Roman Empire, if we click on them and hover over their attack, they've got a couple of different buffs. So they've got the bonus against heavy, and they do have that bludgeon melee attack. So not only getting more base attack, but they also get that bonus against heavy. So you'd want to avoid using any kind of armored unit against these guys.
Stone count for DeMusliM. He's getting ready.
He is getting ready, yeah. So looking to drop that keep in the middle, as you pointed out. So it is going to be the way. Now, interestingly, we still don't have a third relic for VortiX.
I'd love to see him go and batter that wall down.
It
on
seems
the right
so
side.
simple,
Just
doesn't
take
it?
a couple units, start picking away at it, and then send your prelate once the wall is down.
It seems so simple, but now we've got a pretty decent defense coming in. Got to be careful with those villagers. They are moving very far forward. He's going to be using them as a bit of a distraction. I'm curious as to whether he's actually got the upgrade, but back towards the wood line, we see knights coming down. Villagers going to be healing up that nest of bees. A lot of damage going to be coming through onto it, but keep in mind, it's just going to get all healed up by those villagers.
Yeah, but the men-at-arms for VortiX at the front are doing work and just shredding the army from DeMusliM, and DeMusliM is constantly being picked apart by these knights in his economy. So VortiX has done a fantastic job, and VortiX has 2 relics in the bank as HRE, more villagers than DeMusliM. The only thing maybe he's lacking is map control, but look, he's sending another prelate out, and he might be gaining it right now because DeMusliM can't counter this army.
Yeah, we can see all those villagers coming in now. DeMusliM sitting on 43 villagers, 50 for VortiX. Keep in mind, got that extra 15 villagers worth of gold coming in as well from those 2 relics. And now we get a beautiful camera view as you watch that nest of bees go down to the men-at-arms. And great identification here by VortiX to actually stick to the men-at-arms.
Oh, no.
The keep tries to get up, but VortiX says not so fast.
Yeah, with China, you have such confidence getting those keeps up, but with 5 weak villagers and your army is losing, it was just not to be, and he's going to have to place it more defensively or go for a complete YOLO strategy here. DeMusliM has to be feeling like he's on the back foot, and he is.
Yeah, definitely not looking the best for him at this point in time. He's got a couple of options as to how he can play this, but at the moment, the big thing is surviving this push. You can see VortiX just continuing to rally in units at the moment. More men-at-arms coming through. He's spending all of his money, and it looks like DeMusliM has tapped out. Good game. You see the esports hand clap right there coming out from VortiX. He's very happy with this one.
Honestly, VortiX did a fantastic job there after the prelates got sniped. After he could only get 2 relics, he did a really great job making the knights and then constantly attacking from different directions. DeMusliM, there was a couple moments like the one little 3-tile gap, 3 knights get into his eco.
Yep.
Bam, 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 bam. And then instead of focusing on the forward push and pushing spears into his enemy's base, he's suddenly defending. He's pulling villagers, berries, wood, stone, and you just get on the back foot and you can't come back from that.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Had he gone through and done a little bit more walling towards the back, it would have been easier for him because knights wouldn't have been in his wood lines, wouldn't have been on his berry line, and we saw knights towards the front. So it definitely in this matchup, it seems like you want to get defensive walls up a bit sooner as well, just because the counterattack is going to come in quite quickly.
Yeah, and like credit to VortiX, because a lot of other players would have gone right down the middle with the knights looking for opportunities. He looped all the way around, and that was so brutal for DeMusliM because his army is not mobile. His army is spearmen, so they're going to take time to get to the wood line. You know, it takes some time to move from one place to the other, and Vortex would just hit him, run away, hit him again, run away, and suddenly the villager count was even, and he had 2 relics.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I also find it interesting that he was able to overwhelm his opponent so swiftly, despite only having those 2 relics. Normally you think about Holy Roman Empire, they want to get to those 3 relics.
Because he didn't go in?
Yeah, he didn't go imp, but interestingly, not taking down that wall, as you pointed out, it was just such an easy thing to do. So a really great investment right there from DeMusliM. Just, what was it, 30, 40 wood, something like that? Just, yeah, great investment from him. Now, we'll be heading into game number 2. The map is going to be dependent on what DeMusliM wants to play. So he's going to be able to choose any map from the map pool. And when it comes to civilizations, then obviously they'll be doing that blind.
Okay, so DeMusliM, what are we thinking? Hill and Dale, he says.
Hill and Dale coming out for
And
DeMusliM.
he knows that Vortex doesn't have HRE.
That's a great point. So then that means VortiX knows that it's an opening there for DeMusliM to play HRE. What's a good counter to HRE on Hill and Dale?
Mongols, I think.
I think you might be right.
Yep.
We'll take a look at the drafts. Players are drafting right now. And it's got to be the good old-fashioned switcheroo.
Oh, how the turntables here as we see Holy Roman Empire for that's supposed to, oh, that was the first game. I'm getting confused now on the overlay here. Holy Roman Empire for DeMusliM and Chinese for VortiX.
Wow. How the turntables, like that is just I'm in a little bit of awe. I want to just think about how this has gone. So VortiX knows he doesn't have the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah.
DeMusliM knows that. So DeMusliM says, I'm going to play HRE. VortiX says, no, I think you're going to mind game me.
Yesterday against Viper, he went Chinese. Viper also went Chinese. He went YOLO forward with Chinese with those outposts. Not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. They're all blending together here. Is that the way he wanted to play against HRE? Is that kind of style what he was practicing with the Chinese? Because he went forward Barbican outposts around. Do you think that he was anticipating Viper going HRE there, and that's what he was just
maybe
practicing because the set didn't really mean that much to him?
Yeah, I think you could be right. Could we potentially? We might see that out today. Forward Barbican into outpost spam.
Yeah, and you get your dynasty, and as long as you're providing pressure onto your opponent, you can have the superior eco behind with Chinese. Maybe. I don't know.
That could be amazing, Dave. I'm thinking through this in my head, and you've awoken something in me. But speaking of awoken, it looks like our players have awoken. They are ready to head into game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading into another China versus Holy Roman Empire. And I got to say, Dave, this is one of my favorite matchups.
And you know what? Even if it doesn't work, it's not the worst map to throw away China on in a best of 7. Like, if you know you're going to be against HRE, one of the favorites for Hill and Dale, this is not the worst area to use what many would consider to be maybe the worst civilization.
With the highest win rate in the tournament.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm right there with you.
Nerd, don't bring numbers into this. Come on.
I remember sitting on the couch a couple of nights ago and saying to the guys, like, how do we justify putting China as the worst civ right now in the meta?
Well, it's a specialist civ, right?
It is.
So they're picking it in very special situations. If they picked it on every map, I think the win rate would be much different.
I agree with you. It's definitely specialist. It's got a few maps that it definitely excels at, a few matchups that are particularly strong. And obviously with no Delhi, and this obviously not being ladder matches, it's a little bit different. But we can already see that DeMusliM, who spawns in as the Holy Roman Empire, has picked up plenty of sheep on this little scout. Keep in mind, we can also see that he's got 2 scouts. Both players actually have 2 scouts out. We can tell that from our new UI addition.
He's got a good deer patch. Let's see where the chapel can go down in his base. Also, we want to look at the relic. Why haven't we looked at the relic locations
that's pretty important. Ooh, some good relics coming in here for VortiX, but obviously not our relic player.
There's one free one, it looks like, for DeMusliM over to the right side.
Agreed. And even that one up towards the left side looks pretty decent as well for him. Yeah, I'd say this is pretty even. Probably a little bit favoured towards VortiX, just mainly because of the openings to his base. You can see it's just quite linear for him to be able to pick up those 2 relics. It's not going to be too hard at all. But yeah, now DeMusliM moving out onto the map. We'll take a look at DeMuslim's base. I want to see where he's going to be putting this Ark and Chapel down. He's actually got quite a juicy spot. Right here.
Right here.
Oh my God, look at that.
Look
Jeez.
at that. And that might be why when they were going through the seeds, they were looking at it and maybe think, I was doing that actually with Vodka and Viper earlier. I was looking at the seeds, and it's amazing the way they balance it. They're like, the relics are slightly favored to one player, but then you look at the other resources at the back, and it's a little bit more favored to the other, and it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Right?
It can be very tough as well, but we now see a huge amount of villagers moving out towards the center. I think we might have ourselves a little bit of a forward Barbican coming down here, Dave. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, and I think this is exactly what VortiX was practicing against Viper.
Yep.
He didn't expect a Chinese Civ pick against Viper, but he was like, set doesn't mean that much for me anyway.
Yep.
I'm just going to see if it works against another Civ, but I'm planning to use it against HRE.
I mean, right now we're 3 minutes into the game.
It's a lot of idle time.
VortiX has got 14 villagers. How many villagers have we got on our screen right now? Because I feel like it's a lot. That is 10 villagers right now. So he's bringing out 2/3 of his economy. He's going for the forward lumber camp, the classic forward lumber camp, as well as the Barbican here. You see the scouts moving up. No line of sight in this position here, but DeMusliM does uncover it. Now, that's going to be on his gold mine, so he's going to have to be looking for an alternative source of gold. Keep in mind the Ark and Chapel on that as well.
Do you loop two of these villagers around, one to the right side, one to the left side, wall up? And then you have the Barbican in the front, and you have walls on each side so the prelates can't go out.
I think that's pretty smart. Wall up on both sides, and then actually put outposts down. This is something that we've seen Leenock do. You put those outposts down on every single relic.
And then what do you do as HRE? You're forced to go into Age 2 pressure, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you've got to try and break out, and then you've got outposts behind your walls. So I'm really curious to see how VortiX is going to play it. Already we can see just how aggressive he is. Going to be chopping down some wood on the front line here. That Barbican nice and safely up, and all the villagers going to be very happily behind it. Now keep in mind the Barbican can actually hold 10 villagers. So even if there's any kind of pressure towards this Barbican, he's not going to lose a villager. He just gets inside.
Yep. I'm wondering about that chapel location, though, from DeMusliM. He's going up for some walls. The scouts will harass that a bit. We've seen before, if players get outposts on the chapel, suddenly it's not inspiring anything because the villagers need to be pulled away to a different location. So I'm wondering why he chose to put it forward. Guess he wasn't suspecting that Barbican coming up at all.
Yeah, I think that would have been the case, probably not suspecting it. You know, China on this map, it doesn't have to be particularly aggressive. This map in particular doesn't really warrant being aggressive because it's such a defendable map. So, you know, it's one of those whole things.
Where's that villager going?
This is something that the Beastyqt mentioned. He said that on maps where you, which are prone to cheese in StarCraft, those maps are less likely to be cheese because your opponent expects it, whereas the maps that aren't good for cheese, those maps are the maps that you get cheesed on.
Yeah, this map is very non-dairy.
Yes, very, very much so. And you know what else is non-dairy?
Anchor Crowd Spice. He's holding it up to me right now. My man is just such a fan over here. The villager from VortiX being pushed back off the outpost. There's still 2 scouts for DeMusliM, but VortiX still has a scout from his own. He's got more villagers forward. It's not like a Mongol outpost rush where you only have that one villager. You lose it, you lose all that momentum. There's still villagers forward on that lumber camp near that Barbican. They can always retreat to that. DeMusliM did a good job with his initial outpost, so now he can collect around that chapel, and he's not going to be pushed away from that location. But still, look at this. The outpost will go up for VortiX. He will simply hop inside, and then DeMusliM needs to leave.
Yeah, this is such a difficult position for him. We now see that outpost does get up, and straight away it looks like he's going to be having arrow slits come in, or at least the Chinese equivalent, but killing so many villagers here. You can already see the villager difference starting to build now. DeMusliM with 21 villagers, 23 for VortiX.
This looks exactly like the strategy he did against Viper, and I can't believe none of us really picked up on it. Everyone was just thinking, well, he's trying something, you know. But VortiX definitely with a plan in this situation. We've got a blacksmith now from DeMusliM, and VortiX still hasn't looped around to wall the other sides, but I guess the outposts are effectively doing that for this left side here.
Yeah, I think it's quite reasonable, but now we actually see the archers come out, so they're going to be looking to stop any further build-up of outposts over on this flank. This might be the final outpost that goes down, but I think it is going to be in range of the wood line, which means, as you mentioned, that Archon Chapel is going to be doing absolutely nothing.
There's no wood. There's no wood for DeMusliM. He's got a
Oh,
forward
great
wood line
point.
there, and he's got the one near the chapel. And look at how smart that is from VortiX. Oh my God, he's reading the map perfectly. And DeMuslim's like, wood, please give me wood. And here he goes out to the right side. DeMusliM is going to be walking forever to get there.
Yeah, we now see siege engineering coming through as well for DeMusliM, so he's really in a difficult spot here. Now, keep in mind, he wants to just get up to H3 as quickly as possible. He just wants to go and get his relics. That's all he wants to do. So the fact that he's got to be stuck in H2, doing things he doesn't want to do, like making battering rams, researching siege engineering.
Walls with wood that he doesn't have.
Exactly. It's so hard on him. And behind this, we see that that VortiX is actually saving up plenty of resources and could be dropping down a second TC very, very shortly.
Yeah, I think we'll see that soon. And I wonder if the TC is going to be forward, honestly.
Probably could be. You could chuck it on a gold mine, chuck it on the wood line. But
oh, he lost the Vil.
Villager does go down. Towards the base, you would expect that VortiX might even look to transition into his dynasty. Not really gathering too much gold at the moment, though, but we've got some defensive walls coming up from DeMusliM.
I like that a lot, and
Yep.
he's also going to secure that relic on the right side, so at least he gets one, if he ever gets up.
Yeah, that's a good point. But now we actually see those walls being a little bit misplaced, you could almost say, because
This could be bad for VortiX. Those are archers.
Oh, those are archers. Okay, I thought those were villagers. Okay, never mind. He's going to be absolutely okay. So DeMusliM once again going to be stopping the direction there, but he is aware. VortiX is aware of this lower ground play. We did see a scout just towards the east of our screen, so just towards the right of our screen, that does know about these villagers. So
and he picked off another villager down there too.
He could be turning his attention down here very shortly.
Yeah, I love how DeMusliM has defended this once he got in that initial ugly position. Calmly went out to the right side. Well, maybe not super calmly,
yeah.
as we see his heart rate
Yeah.
right there. Went out to the right side, walled it up initially, and now he's relatively safe on that side. But I love the strategy from VortiX more as DeMusliM moves more villagers out here, and VortiX notices that weak Vil. He's going to have to back off due to the archers, though. DeMusliM is defending for the time being, but there's a chop through coming.
The chop through, and he doesn't even, the only thing he needs to get through here are villagers, and that looks exactly what's going to happen now if we head back towards that position. You see the battering ram going down, but now another outpost comes down. We'll head into VortiX's point of view and see whether he spots this out, and he does actually have on it. We're looking at VortiX, I apologize, DeMuslim's point of view. So DeMusliM, is he aware of this outpost going down?
Nope.
He's not.
He's not. He can always move the wood line a little to the right. It's just whether he can counter that once the outpost is up. And our excellent observer, Vodka, has seen the ram being built. I think the ram was for these outposts at the front. But once he notices that outpost on the wood line to the right, I think he shifts the ram over that way.
Yeah, this really isn't pretty. And look, the amazing thing for me is that VortiX, he can really work on the way that this build order has gone. One of the things that we didn't see was that the early walls on the edges that you mentioned, that you could have had those walls down towards the edges. But now we take a look at his point of view, and we can see that he's just resting his villagers, just waiting to get those arrow slits in. As soon as the arrow slits come in, immediately starts firing.
Not at the villager, though. At the lumber camp.
At the lumber camp. Yeah, so a little bit of a unfortunate position there, but now going to be coming through. Has got the double town center up as well. This is not good. This is a win condition, Dave.
Yeah, and I'd love to see the... Oh, great transition there.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. I love that so much. Thanks, Overlay Guy, for that wonderful cube transition. 3D here.
I had flashbacks to
N4C.
1995 Windows PowerPoint. That was just...
I'm loving it.
It was amazing.
I'm not against it, honestly. Scout now going down from VortiX. The Scout, yeah, I guess it's going to go away. And the outpost will go up. So you can see how desperate DeMusliM is for wood in this situation. He's still got the ram, though, up at the top. The ram has not been moved down, and the outpost will go up a little bit late with the archers there. He's going to have to start taking from the stealth forest, and he's spending more wood on another ram.
This is absolutely wild, just how much wood is being invested here. And you can see he's trying desperately to get up to that third age. He's had 400 gold in the bank, but by the same token, VortiX is booming like a madman on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and even if DeMusliM clears this up, it was like I said before, you come with the forward pressure, you prevent them from getting to the next stage, you get your dynasty, and then you start producing villagers like mad behind it. By the time DeMusliM stabilizes, gets all of this junk out of here, as we see him going up to the third age, his economy is going to be quite far behind, already 11 villagers.
Now, he does only have one prelate. He is going up to the third age. Now, typically in this situation, what you want to do is have those prelates sitting on the relics, ready to pick them up the moment you reach that castle age. So he's not going to be able to do that here. Hopefully, we can actually see he's got a prelate in queue at the moment, which is a great sign of things to come. Even if he can get up to those 2 relics, I think he's going to be in a pretty decent spot.
I will say, if you're in DeMuslim's position, if you win this game, wins like this can propel you. It can give you so much momentum, because nothing feels better than a win like this, where you're running from woodline to woodline, you got outposts all over your base. He's stabilized. It's just a question of whether it's going to be enough here.
And I think this is actually going to be quite an interesting game to watch how it unfolds, because VortiX isn't the kind of guy to tap out early, and he's definitely not in a position to do that. Even right now, if DeMusliM goes up to the third age, grabs 3 relics, and actually looks to take...
Game's even up again.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, look at this. We've got walls on the front, walls on the side. He is completely fine with regard to the raids, because how did DeMusliM die in the last game? Raids.
And look, he's pulling the villagers, so he already knows. He already knows. There's nothing I can do about these Rams, nothing I can do about the clear up. He's going to be in the third age. He's going to grab the relics. I'm just going to have to count on the fact that my economy is superior right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, because we've got ourselves a bit of a late game showdown that is going to be happening for you. We're in the 14th minute right now. I'm not going to ask for any predictions, David. I suspect this is going to be quite a long one. Just because VortiX is now in the Song Dynasty, double TC, he is going to be booming his heart out.
Yep. Okay, so 600 food for him, 700 gold. He's kind of building up to go third age himself. DeMusliM, we saw a prelate make its way over to that left side. He's going to start capturing the sacred site, and that'll let VortiX know as he runs right past that. Uh-oh, the relic is going to be coming in here. Archers also moving out from DeMusliM. We saw the walls from VortiX before, so the archers won't be able to get in the economy. But 2 relics right away. A knight out on the field, and he's probably going to get the third one in the middle too.
This is such smart play from VortiX. A lot of people might look at this so far and think, okay, he hasn't achieved his goal. He hasn't done what he wanted to do. But in reality, he has, because the timings that come out for the Holy Roman Empire are so much swifter than those for the Chinese. The Holy Roman Empire love to hit this age 4 timing. They love to hit this 3 relic timing, and it always just beats out the Chinese by a few minutes. But in this situation, VortiX has got to the double TC, and he's already got the villager lead. By the time DeMusliM actually thinks about Imperial, VortiX is already going to be at 100 villagers, and only then does the villager printer start. And he's going to have quite a while to catch him, and VortiX will already have all the resources from those extra villagers in. He'll make his way up to 130 villagers. He's going to be in a fine position.
Knights in the queue as well from VortiX. So maybe he wants to do the hit and run tactics again. Maybe raid the eco. He knows that DeMuslim's only walled on the right side earlier, so perhaps that's the plan for him. What's the late game composition here for VortiX?
For VortiX, I think his best bet is to go for a siege mass. So the bombards, as well as those nest of bees, and then look to get out a few of the spears as well as the palace guards, and try and keep everything relatively close to your siege ball, and ideally move up towards about 8 or 9 nest of bees, but that can be difficult considering the most recent nerf to the Chinese. Obviously, they've got access to the astronomical clock tower, a little bit of extra health on those bad boys that come out of there, but you can't supervise the clock tower anymore.
There goes the Barbican of the Sun. So the barbecue was in DeMuslim's backyard, and now it's over. It's going to be taken out, and that's 1 landmark down, but he's got a prelate out on that relic. The knights will come along and snipe that. He's going to try and Wallalow, but once again, the prelate goes down, and the archers maybe a little bit quick to retreat from their friend.
Yeah, leaving him out to dry there, it seems, but I still think that DeMuslim's in a decent position here. My only fear is that he might be a little bit behind. You can see he is starting to stack up those resources as well, so unlike VortiX in the last game, it looks like he's going to have enough food to transition into that Imperial age. Probably going to be coming through around the 18-minute mark here. But yeah, VortiX definitely looking very strong right now.
Okay, the barbecue is on fire, which is exactly what you want from your grill. And Knights for both players. We can see the total number of units on the field there. If you guys have been watching previous days, we've added it for today and for the rest of the tournament. So right under where the wheelbarrow icon is, you can see the amount of units for each player. We've got 7 Knights on the field here for VortiX. We've got 11 for DeMusliM.
And DeMusliM actually going out onto the map and picking up the boar, so not something that you always see players do. So no mill sitting here, so he's got to be careful. Looks like villagers are idle, so hopefully it draws his attention over towards that position. But now we see those knight numbers really starting to build for DeMusliM at this point, and it doesn't look like he's really thinking about imp at this point in time.
Can he get in, though?
Yeah, it's always going to be so hard because worst comes to worst. I mean, the enemy's just going to be repairing up the wall, but it looks like he's going to be going for it here, Dave. If he gets in, this could be very tough for VortiX.
Yeah, and it's only a singular spearman there. Villagers now coming over. Will they be in time for that gate? And no, they're not. The Knights are going to get in through the crumbling wood of that gate, and he's just going to back up again. Okay.
All right, just let him get up another gate. I'd love to take a look at that boar and see whether he actually did drop a mill down. Okay, he has got a mill down. Do we have survival techniques through for him as well? I'd love to see. No survival techniques, so obviously hasn't watched the latest Age of Noob video, Dave. Age of Noob just did a great video on survival techniques. Definitely a worthwhile investment if you're looking to get out onto the map and grab some of that juicy boar.
Well, he was almost through anyway. Almost through it.
Almost through. But now it looks like DeMusliM going to be pushing through 40 villager difference here. Keep in mind, DeMusliM does have 3 relics, so realistically, difference probably a bit closer to about 20 villagers.
Okay, Ram pushing in. Villagers not coming forward to repair because there's enough spearmen behind. And Knights, once again, running into the eco.
Yeah, this isn't good. We saw this in game number 1 where VortiX came into the base of DeMusliM with those Knights. It was game ending, and now once again he looks to be doing it. Third relic going to be making it safely inside the Regnitz Cathedral. He'll be super happy with that. But these villagers, look at what are these villagers doing? They're just having a bit of a field day, and lots of villagers starting to go down. Now we see that villager lead beginning to build up. 96 villagers against 47. Look at the villagers just dying for DeMusliM.
Yeah, and he has the 3 relics. Is he bringing in a 3rd one here, or does he have 3 in the Regnitz already?
I think he's got 3 in the Regnitz right now.
Okay, so he has the 3 relics, but still, 96 villagers to 42? That is a massive difference, and that's not made up by the fact that you have the first food upgrade in 3 relics.
Yeah, you're going to need a little bit more than the first food upgrade to make up for that difference. But we now see DeMusliM looking to put on a little bit of hurt over towards his enemy in that base, and he is now thinking about Imperial Age. We can see that he's stacking up 1,500 food, but a bit of a push now starting to come out as well from VortiX, going on the aggressive with the spears.
His timing has been so impeccable this game. He delayed him really nicely at the beginning there. He got the walls up at home. He pulled the villagers at the perfect moment. And now, when he knows DeMusliM is thinking about going Age 4, as he loses, what, 4 Knights there to a trap from the Spearman?
Such
fantastic
a beautiful
positioning.
trap.
He knows he's going up to Age 4. He knows he's going to be saving food, saving gold. He can't put it into production. He's going to pressure him once again. And DeMusliM forced to queue up some more Knights.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful trap that we watched right there. But yeah, DeMusliM in a difficult position now because he's down incredibly when it comes to population. 98 villagers versus 45, so more than double. Couple of Knights getting caught out in a beautiful composition coming out from VortiX, really putting on a clinic today for us as to how you play the Chinese into the Holy Roman Empire.
This is so frustrating for DeMusliM because you looked at your res bank 2 minutes ago and you're thinking, oh, I could go H4, I could get the Palace of Swabi, I could catch up on villager count.
Yep.
And now that you've invested, you see your res floating at that same level for the last 2 minutes. And it's just got to be so demoralizing watching this army come in.
Yeah, because now this army comes in and he's going to have to turn his attention towards military. We see some lens connects coming out, Dave. I'm a big fan of these units and their beautiful yellow pants. Is it going to be enough, though?
Yeah, it's unfortunate Grubby isn't here so I could fully learn how to say lens Anyway, the land snakes are into the eco here, and there's spearmen underneath as well, and DeMusliM just can't even engage, and you can see the confidence from VortiX in his economy. He's just got units under that town center. He's pushing in towards the back. DeMusliM is trying to pick a good fight. He's waiting for him to engage against that building and taking the fight on the top side with the Knights, but the spearmen loop-de-loop all the way around. They're going to catch up, and when he runs away, the villagers will die.
Yeah, there's just so many units in here. I don't think he's going to be be able to stop it. We did see a battering ram for a split second, but unfortunately it belongs to DeMusliM. He's going to need a little bit more than that type of siege to help him out in this position. Villagers heading back towards the town center. They do get mauled by spears. The Knights run in. DeMusliM not looking pretty right now. I suspect we might see a good game tapped out any second here, Dave.
Yeah, an esports villager garrison right there is 18 villagers in that town center, and that's about half his economy right now. 35 villagers. We haven't seen this since the old Tower Rush days back at the beginning of this game. We also saw more idle villagers over there. 35 out of 36 idle villagers for DeMusliM.
Yeah, look, one active villager. It's not typically where you want to be. But he's got a little bit of work to do in that regard, but now trying his best to clean it up. We can see the Lance Connects coming out. Now, keeping in mind, these guys are quite expensive and they pack a punch against this composition. My fear is that even if he manages to hold right now, he's down 1/3 of the villagers.
158 pop to 54.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, DeMusliM will see what he can do. Now the Regnitz is under attack. 3 relics in there. Once that disappears, it doesn't matter because 38 villagers is not going to bridge that gap. Even a ram here for DeMusliM trying to get involved, but can't really find any targets. And he's going to be pushing back the army for a limited time, but still his farming eco is getting raided, and 116 villagers behind this from VortiX.
Yeah, he really needs to get this villager printer out. You can really see the difference. Can you imagine right now, if he was up in Imperial Age, how much easier this would have been for him? But we can see VortiX right now rallying all of his military production towards the base. He is committing to this attack, and he's got to be careful against these Lance Connects. You can see now responding with Nessa B, so the appropriate choice in this
like
situation.
this, though. He pulls the Lance Connects over there, and then he just goes in with the Knights, and he knows, I just keep picking off villagers. He can never catch up to me. Never.
Down to 25 villagers now, Dave.
24. It's going to be 24 villagers at 24 minutes.
We are learning to count with DeMusliM, and it's not the way that you want to be counting your villagers typically. Normally you want to be going up, but he is unfortunately just going down to 22 villagers now. And these Knights probably going to get cleaned up here, but VortiX has done so much damage, he's going to be very happy with himself.
Okay, so one last charge from the Lance Connects maybe. DeMusliM still hanging in here. 22 villagers now with 3 relics. He's cleared up the Knights in his base. He's going to head back to that wood line once again. But it's only a matter of time before VortiX comes with that siege ball you were talking about. Yeah,
this is such a clinic that we've seen today. Unfortunately for DeMusliM, I really just can't fathom the difference that would have been made in this situation if he was Age 4, and it all comes down to that early play from VortiX. That delaying strategy that he did prevented those relics from going up, or from being taken, prevented that Swabia from going up, and now we see more Knights coming into the base. DeMusliM going to be falling back towards the town center. A couple Knights here, a few Lance Connects to pick him up, but not having a lot of luck.
Production queue is 2. Production queue is 2, and then we look at the production queue on the other side, and there's like 23 units coming out, plus technologies coming in for VortiX. Finally, DeMusliM goes for a wall in the front. I think he could have maybe gone up to Age 4 if while he was forward with the Knights, he was walling off his base to buy him a little bit of time, and kept those Knights kind of running around VortiX's base.
It's definitely a mistake that we are seeing a lot of players make. It's just lack of walls. And now we actually see him walling up over towards the west side. But once again, Dave, I can't help but think of JoJo's hit single from 2004. Too little, too late.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
DeMusliM, you need to resign because this is going to get worse for me. And oh no, even though he's walling, he's going to wall out his own units. As VortiX keeps 2 Knights back there as sacrifices and goes in with the rest of them, continues to pick off villagers. 26 villagers for DeMusliM, 129 for VortiX.
Yeah, so at this point in time, he's got 5 times the amount of villagers that his enemy has got. And it's only going to continue to dwindle. I wonder what percentage we can actually get him to, because at the moment he's on 23 of 129. And I'm sure our guys over on Reddit are going to be doing the math in this one and saying, at one point in the game, DeMusliM had 12% of the villager count that VortiX did, and he still didn't resign. He is fighting on, and he knows how important it is to win this game, because, as you mentioned, this game really sets the tone for the rest of the series.
Yep. And sometimes we talk about, I don't know if you do in Age 4, but in Age 2 we talk about, you know, if you're losing a game in a series and your opponent is trying to finish you off, sometimes maybe you want to stay in and frustrate them a little bit for future games. You kind of get yourself warmed up while at the same time they're just kind of like, why is this guy not resigning? Why is this guy not resigning? And
Yeah.
they're getting more and more aggravated because you mentally, you know you've already lost.
Yeah.
So we might see a little bit of that at play right now.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Often, the way I used to think about it was, you know, if I kept myself in a game for too long in DeMusliM's position, I would be the one tilting because I'm trying to make everything
he's
work.
already mentally he's already considered this like a 1% chance. Probably.
Yeah, you reckon he's already signed out?
Yeah.
He's just having a bit of fun.
Well, as long as there's a 1% chance, it's a big tournament.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the game's not over until the fat lady sings. And at the moment, the 3 landmarks stand up for DeMusliM still. So she's not singing just yet. But we now see VortiX, maxed out population, 3 nested bees pushing in.
Okay,
beautiful
maybe
composition.
now.
And
yeah. Maybe now.
Yeah. DeMusliM says, well, that was a tough one. I couldn't come back from that. VortiX going to be incredibly happy with that. Beating out the Chinese, or winning with the Chinese in that matchup, it is a big ask.
Yeah, and that was a great strategy from him. I mean, you go forward with the pressure, especially with the woodline positioning. Maybe it depends on the woodlines if you're VortiX with that strategy.
Definitely. I think that's a massive factor. Obviously, we saw the Barbican go down on one wood line, and then he looked to isolate the rest of that first wood line, the second wood line towards the front again. So I wouldn't be surprised if he saw those wood lines as he said, all right, we're doing it.
Yeah, I also like the fact that he pulled those villagers back before all of his outposts were dead. He's just like, well, I can lose 10 villagers forward and maybe evens it up, but I'm just going to pull these back. I'm going to play safe, and I'm going to boom up behind. It was great timing on everything from VortiX, honestly.
He has, I mean, I think so far throughout this series, the key word would be timing for his play. It's been absolutely immaculate. Every single time he has needed to hit a mark, he's done it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then for DeMusliM, it's tough to say what he should have done there. Maybe scouted the villagers coming across. Maybe you suspect something like that. Keep your scout in the middle of the map.
Yep.
And then you can start preparing with an outpost of your own, or maybe you put your chapel on the reverse side as well.
Yep.
Maybe secure, I don't even know, like, where do you even secure another woodline? You just got to get multiple outposts up there, I guess.
I think you have to play it the same way that VortiX did in the first game. So one of the things we did, or one of the things we saw, is that he added a second scout, moved the scout right outside DeMusliM's base, and as soon as that villager started moving out, he got on it straight away. So I think that would have been a big part, would have helped him out a huge amount.
I would have liked to see the one point where he could have come back, maybe, in economy, is if he had walled while his knights were forward.
Yep.
I think that was the area. If you get Palace to Swabia out, you have 3 relics. You can start printing the villas. You're never going to catch up in villager count, but you have those 3 relics.
Correct. Yeah, I think that was a big play. And, throughout this tournament, we've now seen lack of walls cost DeMusliM 2 games, or at least in this series, cost him 2 games. In that first game, very easily, 100 wood could have really helped him out. Unfortunately, didn't go through. In that second game, however, we have got some interesting some interesting cameras right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you got it.
Hi.
You got it. Hello. I'm VortiX. I'm not VortiX anymore. That's VortiX. Game 3, Dry Arabia. Which civilizations do we see out here? Is it going to be an Abbasid mirror?
Abbasid, yeah.
Oh, Abbasid Monk. Oh, gosh.
Oh, this feels...
This is...
Oh, he's got it. Look at him looking down.
Oh,
Look at him looking down. Oh, no.
This is not what he wanted. Coming into this series 2-0, or coming into this game 2-0, he needs to get a matchup win at least, once. But now... I mean, we have seen Abbasid victorious in this matchup, I think, about 7 games out of 9.
Yeah, this is really, really rough. Although Leenock, King of the Hill, he had a really good game, Mongols against Abbasid. He controlled the berries. He used his con very well. The other times we've seen Mongols versus Abbasid, we've kind of seen the meta shift a little bit to trying something new, getting that silver tree with the trade boom coming out.
That's a good point.
But
we could see some silver tree today.
It's just like, even in practice games, like everyone's playing it and they're like, I feel like there's something here. It just never works. So they know there's potential to make it work. They're just trying to figure out the exact build and how many trade you add and how you protect it. Do you put outposts in the middle so you can garrison the trade cards? Do you what happens there? Or do you just go for the tower rush and try and control those berries?
Yeah, I think there's so many different ways you can play this, but players are obviously still working out the best way to do it. That's why we still see Abbasid being so strong at the moment in this matchup. But we do head in through to game number 3. Now, ladies and gentlemen, spawning in on the west side of the map, we've got VortiX. He's going to be playing the Abbasid Dynasty for us today. And he's going to be starting off adding in a... looks like he's just got the one scout out for the moment. No, over on the opposite side of the map, we've got DeMusliM in the color red playing as the Mongols. We'll take a look at DeMuslim's spawn. We'll see how close that starting town center is to that gold mine, and it doesn't look like it is particularly close. So, yeah, he's got a...
Dude, it's not even in the same zip code.
Yeah, it's a few zips over. Unfortunately for him, it means he's going to have to drop down a Gur, but in most tournament games that we've seen so far, I think there's only been the one game where we didn't actually see that. And if I remember correctly, it was MarineLorD who got that spawn. So we'll see how they look to play it. We'll head into the perspective now of VortiX and get to witness what he sees. You can see he was housed for a short bit there, but manages to get it down. How's this game going to open, Dave?
Well, I'm not sure, because we've seen the Mongols try and adapt to the Abbasid, right? This just seems like such a good Civ matchup for Abbasid if they go for that early second TC. They can even delay the second TC, go for military production to stall out the tower rush early, kill the villager forward, or even just delay it a little bit and then always send a few to stone later. There's the House of Wisdom for VortiX, and then maybe we can switch over to DeMuslim's point of view. Oh, we get the double view and then back to VortiX again.
I like that.
I like this.
It was good. But we went back to VortiX.
And now DeMuslim. Here we go. Overlay guy's like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. And it's Spearman opening.
Yeah, a little bit interested to see Spearman opening. A lot of players at the moment are shying away from the Spearman opening here with Mongols, especially in this matchup. Sort of sitting back and just going for a pasture instead, but it's not going to be the case today. Very curious to see where he looks to position. So obviously he's got 4 villagers on the gold mine. Now keep in mind, he's going up right now to the feudal age. All of these villagers that are gathering, these guys are purely here to pick up enough resources for fresh foodstuffs. So once they've got that, they're going to be happy. If he gets enough for wheelbarrow as well, he'll be extra happy. But doing damage to this gold mine isn't going to be too bad. Ideally, he's going to be looking to control, as you mentioned, the berries.
I like this. 2 villagers forward instead of 1.
I like this as well.
It's so much more consistent.
Yep.
Like, how many times this tournament have we seen the 1 villager forward get killed on the first or second outpost, and then another one has to run all the way across the map, and DeMuslim is going to be pressuring this gold. He doesn't have enough yet.
Yeah, so we see the gold right now for VortiX coming through. He's got 92 gold in the bag. I think he needs 125 for fresh foodstuffs. So we'll click on the House of Wisdom and just double check that, though. I'm pretty sure it's 50 food, 125.
He should have enough here. Yeah, with those 2 villagers coming in, he will have enough. Oh!
117. It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Did he drop off there? I think he did. So, yeah, 117. He needs 8 more, and the spearmen are still there. Still, he moved the con away. The other 2 spearmen are not fast enough, and this is the problem that players have against Abbasid. It's like they're going to get that gold.
Yeah.
Even no matter how fast you come, they're going to get that gold, and they can always go to the stone later.
Yeah, it looks like he manages to get enough gold. He's going to be bringing that back to the town center. Now we see he's on 124. Oh, 127. Okay. Ooh, I was a little bit worried there, Dave. I thought he was going to have to make another trip out to the gold mine, and that really could have been the difference between life and death.
Yeah, and there's the first outpost, and VortiX is actually on stragglers right now. So he hasn't got to the wood line yet. He's on those straggler trees, and it looks like DeMuslim is planning to set up outposts along that wood line.
Does he just... He's going for an archery range, but as you mentioned, he's just on stragglers.
He's just on stragglers.
He hasn't made the lumber camp.
No, he has not made the lumber camp.
Is he just going to abandon this and come to... See, but the problem is, he can't even move down towards the south.
He has no mobility here.
He has to... Oh, this is terrible.
And it's good for DeMuslim.
Incredibly. This is wonderful for him. Just this single outpost, going to be able to deny the tree lines or the wood lines. And now we see him moving out towards this position. Now, keep in mind, typically, once the archery range comes up, once the first archer comes down, then your rush or your push is going to be pretty much neutralized. So he could be coming to the south side, but...
Is that a villager death? I heard her... She was really dramatic about it, too.
Abbasid villagers are known for their drama, yes. Yeah, you wait until you hear them build a house. That's just my favorite. It never gets better than that. But spears now, microing back and forth. And already we can see... I mean, DeMuslim's going to be happy with the response that he's forced out here. But I'm fearful that he might not have done enough damage to VortiX.
Yeah, Khan is going to get some good value there against the Scout first, and then the Archer as well. He's going to move that away, doesn't want to lose that. And the Villagers are already coming back. Yeah, I was having high hopes when I saw he didn't have a lumber camp, but the outpost was pretty far back there for DeMusliM. I thought the second one would come along this side, maybe a little bit closer to the town center, but I guess with that positioning, it was always going to be tough. And then the Archers were out at the perfect timing there for VortiX.
It's a really smart move from VortiX.
Don't lose the Khan.
I feel like I've actually learned quite a bit just watching that unfold. So I think players like me, lesser players than VortiX, we would look at that situation and say, okay, I need to get my lumber camp up ASAP. He didn't even bother with a lumber camp. He was just on stragglers around his town center. And then, even then, he moved his villagers out to the wood line. And he was just long distance chopping because he knew it was so important that he gets out those archers.
Yeah, and that's a great response to the Mongol tower rush. And you can tell that the players have practiced against it so much, and that's why Mongols have been struggling in this tournament. They know all the moves. They know exactly how to counter it. DeMusliM is going to be running into issues here. Like, what's the follow-up for him? And are there even... He's got double pasture, but he's got too many villagers on the sheep here, so he's going to be running into food issues, I believe.
Yeah, you can see a couple of those villagers going out, trying to slaughter that sheep before it even gets in, and this is part of the consequence of not having enough sheep in the early game.
Yeah.
So
should have called HelloFresh.
Should have called HelloFresh. As you guys know, they've got some delicious meals available. They've been feeding us every day, and it's been an absolute delight.
Promo code N4C Fresh.
Thank you, Dave. Get it while it's hot, ladies and gentlemen. But now, speaking of hot, Khan going to be running in hot right now. He's got a sheep there with him. Ideally, you'd want to have that sheep back at base where the villagers can eat it, but looks like Spear's going to be running into archers, never a position you really want to be having. He's focusing them down, but not having a lot of success, and it looks like they're going to be going down.
I think he just sent those spears in because he wanted to save his Khan, and then he just YOLO'd them because they couldn't get away. And now he's minus those 4 spearmen, and there's nothing, I don't think there's anything in that outpost, right?
We'll have to take a look. I think it's got the arrow slits upgrade. Now, I don't know too much about DeMusliM. Is he the kind of guy who gets on tilt?
I don't think so. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just a bit worried about seeing him sending in those spears. But as you mentioned, probably just trying to save the Khan. Looks like Scout actually going down towards the main base. So unfortunate timing there. But now going to be looking to go up towards that castle edge. You can see DeMusliM stacking up quite a few resources here. VortiX adding in the second town center as well. So he's going to be happy with that. Managing to get it up over by the gold mine. So an interesting position that he's decided to go for. We'll take a little bit of a look at it over towards the left of our screen right now. There it is. So yeah, not a bad spot actually on that wood line as well as the gold mine.
I think I would have liked that on berries, or on another food source if possible. I guess the nearest berries are way out.
Yeah, they're pretty far away.
To that left side, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a fair bit of sense here.
Like, where's his... Okay, he's still got tons of berries left at the back of his base, and he's still got sheep, so it should be fine.
Yeah, I think he should be okay in this spot, but now DeMusliM obviously has got that window to get up to the next stage. You can see him using his Khan so effectively in these fights, just constantly tapping in and out, just keeping it at range, and still we see this sheep following along the Khan. He's still yet to take it back home. Spearman does go down, but with regard to military right now, DeMusliM only having that Khan out. VortiX just got a handful of archers. He's going to look to apply pressure, but DeMusliM going to be going up to the next age. How many pastures has DeMusliM got? I'd love to take a look at his base and get a bit of an idea. So adding in the 4th one now.
Yeah, 4 pastures, so his villagers are going to consistently be able to take sheep there. The army for VortiX should be heading out here, though. I believe I see it on the mini-map there, and the Khan has been killed, so that's minus scouting information, and of course,
minus 1 sheep.
Yeah, minus 1 sheep and minus speed boost for his military. It's saying that, though, doesn't have much military. He's only got these 2 horsemen, but he does intercept the archers from VortiX, so great map awareness there, great scouting from DeMusliM to find these units before they can go into his gold.
Yeah, this is a great little pickup for him. He's going to be really happy with this. 1 horseman for 5 archers. I think anybody would take that trade. But now it looks like he's going to be able to completely overwhelm those. We'll take a look back towards the base.
Honestly, if those archers get on his gold, he's in such big problems there.
Yeah, it's a great point, but DeMusliM now going to be looking to get up to that next stage. You can see he's about 100 food away from it. I think my question at this point, Dave, is do you think he did enough to delay VortiX from achieving his goals?
No.
Okay.
I would love to expand on that point, but no.
that was very quick, very decisive, and I got to agree with you. I feel like typically in this position, if you're going to invest in a barracks early, if you're going to invest in sending 2 villagers towards your enemy, you need to really make that count. And I feel like he didn't. Obviously, he forced out the archery range. He forced out 5 archers. Doesn't really feel like it was enough, though.
Yeah, Horseman now being annoying on the gold. DeMusliM has to pull some villagers away, but he is going up to the next age. So DeMusliM will be in age 3 quicker than VortiX, but of course VortiX with the double TC already 3 villagers ahead, and it's going to be a lot more soon.
Yeah, you're 100% right. He's definitely on that that avenue up. But now the mass starting to build up here, and very interesting play from VortiX to be sticking to age 2 with archers like this, because it's so easy in this position for DeMusliM to just completely ruffle stomp him. And I don't use that word lightly, ruffle stomp. I haven't used that word since 2013, I'll be honest with you, Dave. But realistically, he's just going to be able to add in stables, which it looks like he might be doing. We'll take a look right now at the Uvu. What production do we have? Just coming up to the north of that position, just up a little bit. Vodka, just... Nope. All right, don't worry. There are military production buildings going down. It looks like it's going to be barracks, so he's going to be going for a men-at-arms play.
Men-at-arms play here. It looks like VortiX is going 1-1-1. He's got an archer range, a stable, and a barracks, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So it makes a fair bit of sense here for him to go for these barracks, or for these barracks rather. And now we see the first men-at-arms coming out. The main issue he's going to have is just food economy. You can see that he's got quite a few pastures here, and he's defending on this front. But the stepper out, not going to be able to do too much here. It is positioned on the gold mine. He's got 166 gold in the bank. Should be enough for him to get out. Just enough men-at-arms to be able to push this back.
Mm-hmm. Lots of units, though, for VortiX, and this is the struggle with Avicid. At a certain point, if you let their economy get out of control, they can just start printing. And it's like an impossible flood to stop. But I'm saying that, and DeMusliM is playing as the Mongols. So it's a...
if anyone knows about printing,
yeah, it's a similar situation. And here come the men-at-arms here. The Khan is back alive. He is been reborn, and he will be able to support this military. Horseman now engaging for VortiX. He's got archers behind, and the military numbers are huge, but DeMusliM with the better units currently.
Yeah, and we can see he's getting out those men-at-arms 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. And they look to try and chase down some of those horsemen. Not having a lot of luck, but now this is where the timing window comes. So we'll take a look at DeMusliM's base, click on his blacksmith, and I'd be curious to know whether he has got the improved siege engineering upgrade. Not just yet. Now he's got a fair bit of stone in the bank, not a whole lot though. But I would expect that we would see that upgrade coming through sooner rather than later, because this push is definitely looking quite strong.
I think I'd like to see if he can manage to pull some men-at-arms away, but oh, the men-at-arms are being surrounded now. Look at how many units VortiX has on the field. He's got 26 military currently. Even against these upgraded Castle Age units, he's going to be pushing them back and killing a few of them. If DeMusliM could pull a few of these men-at-arms away, I'd love for him to loop them around to VortX's economy if possible and start harassing a little bit.
Yeah,
like there's the exposed berries, even the wood line is a little bit further from the TC. Maybe he doesn't notice the raids while he's focusing on the front.
Yeah, I think that's 100% the right move to make. We actually see a Lancer coming out now, so that might be where it's headed. But VortiX up to the 3rd age, so behind this, keep in mind, he's gone for the 2nd town center. He's got plenty of military out, and he's getting up to the next age. So really just goes to show how strong this civilization is. And I think it really comes down to just their berries being so strong.
Yeah, and I think he's out of berries at the back there. I think his only food economy for VortiX is the berries at the side, because he ran out of sheep as well. So it's going to be a transition period here, and there's potential for DeMusliM to punish. He also has villagers making outposts forward as the horsemen come in and get some good raids on the step readout. How often do we see that against Mongols? The only place to raid, it feels like, is that step readout. And all the villagers are over here. Like I said, he had to make a food transition. The villagers are going to be over here on the deer, and that is an opportunity for DeMusliM to pull himself back.
Yeah, now there were villagers down there dropping down an outpost, but he's got a Lancer in the berries, exactly as you called, Dave. It looks like he's trying to take control of this situation and put himself in the driver's seat. He's got a huge military mass, and keep in mind his military is armored, whereas that from VortiX is not so. But now we see more villagers dying towards that gold mine. Has that outpost come up yet on the deer? It looks like the villagers have actually moved on from that
villagers chopped enough to get to that outpost that DeMusliM put at the beginning of the game.
Wow, that's a great point. That's a lot of chopping. Yeah, and that outpost, look, you can actually see it doing work, taking out those villagers. And I think we've got good game being called. So DeMusliM winning the game and taking it to 2-1, Dave. I don't think many people expected this.
Great recovery.
Really
Honestly,
good.
against Abbasid, like that's a Civ matchup that we've seen Mongols really, really struggle against this entire tournament. And it's just incredible what he managed to do there. The second TC came up, and he got up to the third age, flooded men-at-arms. Vortex couldn't do anything.
It was an absolutely crazy game. I think the timing window was really, really there for Vortex. Unfortunately, he didn't hit it. But I'm surprised to see the victory come out there for DeMusliM. Yep. There wasn't a lot of damage done at that early stage in the game, but still managed to pull it out. So very well played there. Great knowledge of the matchup and great timings.
I think like the villagers coming forward with the men-at-arms is so good too. To put the outpost on the right side, to put another, I think I saw firing from another outpost that we didn't see near the wood line too. And then the one Lancer, he's focused on the men-at-arms and the outpost, and then the one Lancer and the berries. So every single place that Vortex looks, he's like, oh, I'm losing vills here. Oh no, I'm losing vills here. And it just builds in your head to this giant crescendo of villager losses. It's like a symphony of destruction, you know? And that's what the Mongols do. It's just a complete landslide of units in that third age. So well done from DeMusliM. And I'm being told here that exclamation mark Anchor Kraut in the chat, and you can win a stay home set with 12 creations, delicious creations here.
So we've been talking about it all day, fellas. I know you guys...
I can still smell it.
Yeah, I can still smell it lingering. You see these down in front of us here. These are from Anchor Kraut. These guys do delicious spices. So this one that I'm holding right now, sour cream and onion, definitely my favorite one. And so what I'd encourage you guys to do, exclamation mark Anchor Kraut. You guys are spamming away in chat right now.
And like, you don't even have to, you don't have to feel bad about it because it's delicious. And it supports the tournament too. So it's like, it's literally a win-win. I don't feel bad about smelling out for this.
I love that you're using that.
It's a new thing, yeah.
So keep in mind, if you are interested in picking up some of your own Anchor Kraut supplies, that underneath the stream, if you just scroll down, minimize the video window, you can click through on the Anchor Kraut little image that we've got down there. So they are an official sponsor of N4C. So big shout out to them. And hopefully that giveaway going to be coming through soon, shortly for you guys. But we've already got game number 4, Dave.
Game number 4, and DeMusliM has to be feeling amazing about that last game, because the groans here when we saw that Civ matchup, and chat as well was like, yikes. Yeah. So him taking the victory there is fantastic for the set and for his chances. I think that was Mongols for Vortex, and that was French for DeMusliM, correct?
Correct,
And then what map was it on?
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill. Ooh,
yeah.
French. Very good Civ on King of the Hill, but so are Mongols.
That victory was just so big for his motivation, I think, because coming into that, he lost as Holy Roman Empire up against Chinese, a civilization matchup that most people consider to be almost unwinnable for the Chinese, unless there's a big skill disparity. But then coming into another matchup that is considered quite difficult for the Mongols, going up against the Abbasid, and he pulls out the victory.
Yep.
Let's see if he can do it again. As we head into game number 4, DeMusliM spawns in on the south side of the map, playing as the French. He's going to be opening up with just your standard French play. Looks like he's just going to be going for the one scout for now. But on the other side of the map, Dave, we've got VortiX, and he spawned in as the Mongols. We saw DeMusliM on the Mongols last game. VortiX here, not the best spawn, but that's kind of to be expected typically.
Both have back wood lines. I was actually watching over their shoulder for this. I remember this map. We went over this map.
Yeah?
Viper and Vodka, yeah. So they felt that both players with a back wood line, they both had the berries. Blue had the berries near the back, and red had the berries a little bit to the side. Similar gold positions, similar relic positions. They thought this one looked pretty good for both. And Vortex is gonna have to figure out an answer to the French with the Mongols. Mongols have been struggling this tournament.
Yeah, you're definitely right. At the moment, they currently sit as the lowest win rate, or at least they did before last game. We'd have to do a double check. But now we can see that pesky Mongol Khan doing what it does best, killing herdable sheep.
Yeah, and that's one sheep down. And The scout from DeMusliM is trying to get his friends home, but there's another sheep, and the third one will likely follow. So this is a good opening to the game for Vortex, and maybe a little bit of a esports smirk there from him as he kills that final sheep, kind of within range of the town center, but DeMuslim's going to have to figure out something for his food eco, and he's going to have to figure it out quick. There is another sheep back here that he can take. Okay, there's 2 more. That'll get you a little bit, but is it going to be enough?
It really feels bad losing sheep like that. And one of the things that we've actually see a lot of game developers do is remove parts of the game that feel bad. And I would definitely, you know, if the developers said, hey, Drongo, we're going to remove Mongol Khans, I'd be very excited. But if they said we're also going to remove the Khan attacking sheep at range,
yeah,
I'd definitely get behind that, because it feels absolutely terrible to be losing 3 sheep like that just because, well, just because.
Yeah, but on the other side, it feels good. So it's a 50-50 at best.
Yes, yes. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But it looks like we've got the age up coming through now for DeMusliM. We can see from VortiX's position, he's doing a great job with that Khan, just scouting out absolutely everything. Couple villagers heading out towards that gold mine. He does also have the pasture coming through. Now, you won't be hearing any sound coming through from their perspectives, just because the technology is just not there yet. But a pretty decent Uvu position here as well. He's not going to have to run those villagers or run those sheep.
Okay, so what's the approach here in the second age for the French?
Good question. I think the game plan typically for him is just going to be a couple of knights that come out and then try and look for that age 3 transition. Obviously, VortiX is going to be thinking about the same thing. So I think definitely at this point in time, the French are in the driver's seat here. Obviously, we haven't seen any aggression out yet, other than that Khan just being very pesky. But yeah, realistically, I think his composition is probably just going to look something like the Knight Mangonel composition, always great in this situation. We could potentially see an early Imperial Age as well. Players love to get that early Imperial on this map because of the Sacred Site. We take a look at where the Sacred Site is spawned. Very favorable towards the French as well. So he should be able to get a Red Palace nicely tucked away in on that position. And he'll be feeling really good about himself with that up.
School of Cavalry coming for DeMusliM. No surprise there. And the scout from him is still chasing the Khans. So the Khans can't just stop and sit. And he's going to be providing a little bit of pressure, but maybe not the best thing for DeMusliM. Another sheep found there from VortiX as he heads back to his own economy. Probably going to drop that off. Still no wheelbarrow in here from DeMusliM.
We could potentially see a professional scouts out of him. So one of the things to note is that with professional scouts, in addition to being able to pick up deer, you can also pick up the carcasses of sheep. And what did we see in the early game? We saw 3 sheep losing their lives to that Khan. So one of the things he could do is look to extend out his food economy by picking up those 3 sheep.
Okay, so we see another scout in the queue, so it probably will be professional scouts.
Yeah, DeMusliM here looking to play it safe. I think this is a smart move from him. Now, we do have that first knight coming out as well. It looks like we've also got a scout coming out as well from VortiX. So VortiX looking just to get a little bit more intel, but going to be able to apply pressure on this gold mine. I can only imagine that the response coming out here from VortiX is going to be an outpost on that gold mine at the very least. At the most, maybe even a barracks himself.
Is that a villager coming across? Do I see a blue dot there? No, I don't see anything.
It could be the scout. I suspect it might be. He's probably just tracking those knights, seeing where they are. We'll take a look at the base now and see that the horsemen going to be coming out here and looking to chase away the Khan.
Yeah, horsemen to counter that, and then the knight heading across the field. And he's going to look for exposed resources from VortiX. The knight will arrive at the base and find the gear on the gold and loop around, but there's not many exposed resources here for VortiX, so I don't know how much damage DeMuslim's actually going to be able to do with that. Still, provides a little bit of pressure and gets him a little bit of scouting information.
Yeah, we now see VortiX moving away with the Khan. You can see the Khan barely taking any damage. He's just so methodical with that Khan. He's always in control. Great job there. Now going to be running back past the scout. This scout just positioned very nicely, monitoring the numbers of knights. That's what it's about, really checking what your enemy is adding in at this position. And VortiX has done a great job scouting out his enemy. He knows exactly how many military production buildings he's got and what the appropriate response is.
Yeah, a couple spearmen now. I believe those were spearmen?
Yes.
Coming across from our Mongols player here. Man, Leenock's play with the Khan the other day made me appreciate that unit so much more than I already did. did, and it's already like really high up in my mind, but the way he was able to keep that con alive at 12 HP and kill so many units and debate so many units was incredible. But this con, speaking of it, it goes down, and that's a great pick there from DeMusliM, and he's going to get a lot of confidence from that. Also has scouts chasing the scout from VortiX at the back of his base. He's going to pick up those carcasses, and he's going to move them back under his town center. So a lot of consistent food under there. Actually brings them over towards that mill, and his berries are going to expire. He's going to have lots of carcasses to move to.
Yeah, he's playing very well at this point in time. Honestly, watching DeMusliM play, he's done a great job. He's kept his opponent off gold, so he knows he's not going to be looking for a castle age. He can play him out in the second age. He's already got those professional scouts out. As you mentioned, killing the Khan is such a big morale victory as well. Now looking to do a bit of trading here with
that knight's going to go down,
yeah,
right?
He's got to be careful with that knight. Doesn't have a lot of health left on that at all.
That's a theoretical knight. It can get one charge.
It could, yes. But now we see the Archer's actually going to be mixed in here for DeMusliM. He's going to be really happy with this composition. Keep in mind behind this, the professional scouts just doing so much work as well, keeping that food economy alive. And beautiful micro coming out right there from DeMusliM as he peel backs the low health scout. And just remember, those bad boys heal up.
Yep. And the knight also very low health there, running away. More spearmen coming in from VortiX, and not only professional scouts working, but the French town center working, and wheelbarrow coming in. So the economy is going to be better for DeMusliM. I guess the question is, what can VortiX do in the next stage? He's got 900 food. He's got 450 gold. DeMusliM is still kind of stuck a little bit in age 2, and we saw it last game with the Mongols. The men-at-arms came out, wiped everything. Will it be a similar story here? It
could definitely be a similar story. So it's going to really depend on DeMusliM and how he looks to react to that, whether he goes into full knights. But you can already see that that VortiX is preventing that just by his large, massive spears. And he is telegraphing that to his enemy. He's saying, hey, I've got lots of spears. Don't you dare think about making more knights. And now it looks like he's going to be adding in some stables. So in the transition period here, about to drop down that step redoubt, and we can see he's actually got spears out on that gold mine as well. So even if there was a raid to come in, he is 100% prepared.
Chivalry coming in. That means so much for these weak knights. He saved 2 knights, I believe, at 1 hit.
Yeah,
and he's going to start healing them up, and then he doesn't really need to keep making knights against this many spearmen. He's going to go for archers, but those knights will be super useful later when VortiX has all of his army forward and he can loop them around and start picking off villagers.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And speaking of picking off villagers, we did just see a villager picked off there, spears on the front line. Step it out now, going to be dropped down in the main base of VortiX. He is he's currently up in this series 2-1, so with this game, he's looking to potentially take himself up to match point.
Yeah, hanging around that sacred site. Not important yet, but it's certainly important later in the game. We've seen sacred site victories many times on this map, and there's the blacksmith for DeMusliM. So he's going to get the attack upgrades there, and the spearmen, more still coming across from VortiX. He has cut production, though, and I believe he is up to age 3 with the step readout. DeMusliM still trying to bring in these carcasses. Khan still harassing those, but the carcasses will be in, so more consistent food economy for DeMusliM, and more knights coming out.
Yeah, so now we see VortiX adding in a knight as well. I'd love to take a look at VortiX's UFU, see exactly what production he's got there. It's double stable, so you can expect a lot of knights are going to be flooding out here. I suspect he's probably going to be getting double batches of those out as well. And keep in mind, these guys are the fully upgraded veteran version or castle age version of the knight, so stronger than DeMusliM's knights in the second age.
I want to see outposts on that step readout as soon as he can.
Yeah.
Because that's the threat, right? You know about the knights from DeMusliM, and every single time we see a Mongol player get raided, he's getting raided on that step readout. You need at least 2 outposts there.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. It makes a lot of sense. And we'll continue to watch him, see if he looks to do that. Obviously got the scout there as well, going to be able to provide that little bit of extra intel. But now we see more and more Lancers coming out. And take a look at the resources for DeMusliM. He's definitely thinking about getting up to that next stage.
Yeah, but he's got to get the gold, and the gold is forward. The gold is at the front of his base, and the army is coming from VortiX, so he knows exactly where to pressure him. Whether he has enough to pressure him is another question. That is a whole lot of spearmen.
Yeah, those spears have now been upgraded. It looks like he's got veteran spearmen as well. You can tell normally that the spears on the end have got a little bit of a stabby on them. They've got a nice little skin. But this is a huge mass starting to push in here. And keep in mind, it's going to be right onto DeMuslim's gold mine that he pushes, and probably going to be looking to keep DeMuslim in that second age.
That's a lot of knights, though. It's a lot of knights and a lot of archers. If DeMuslim micros this properly, he does have a chance to kill this military. Villagers now running right through the military, still picking off the spearmen there. I think a couple archers go down, but I don't think any villagers did. And VortiX needs to leave. So this is stalling out the gold mining from DeMuslim, so it's going to delay him from the next age. He's also running out of wood, so he'll need to move for another wood line, maybe at the back, maybe at the side, pretty soon here, and that might give more avenues for attack for VortiX, but right now he seems content to just kind of build up his military at the front, get those Lancer numbers up.
It was a really good hold right there from DeMuslim. That was pivotal. If he lost that gold mine, he lost the game.
Yep.
No two ways about it. But he manages to hold, manages to continue getting his upgrades through, and at the same time look towards that castle age transition. And now some beautiful picks potentially going to happen here. He's outnumbered by a huge amount, but does he get that surround? It looks like the two wave to each other. It's that classic meme, Dave. You know the ones where they're driving past each other in the car, the man looking at the girl?
Yeah.
Ah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it, but now DeMuslim got to be on the defensive a little bit. A lot of knights out here for him. Keep in mind those archers going to do barely any damage. He's up against castle-age knights, and oh my god, you might be right. He's heading towards the base, and a bit of long-distance chopping coming in through as well.
Mm-hmm. It's like we have a classic meme of Steve Harvey where he's laughing because he's raiding his opponent's eco, and then he looks back at his own, and it's all gone, right? And this might be the case here as the Knights come in under the town center, but great response time from VortiX. I believe he only lost 2 villagers there. Like I said, he's going way out for the wood, and he's going to be very exposed to the cavalry from VortiX, but villagers running near the deer stones there. The spearmen are forced to come back, and I think he really wanted to force those spearmen back in defense because now limited numbers of military into Muslim space, and I believe DeMuslim is up to age 3.
Yeah, this is such a smart move because keep in mind, if we take a look at the blacksmith, or is there even a blacksmith up for VortiX? There should be. Has he got improved siege engineering? He doesn't just yet, but it looks like he might be saving up for it. And with that improved siege engineering, obviously if that comes out, mangonels are going to be just a minute away. He's delayed that because he's forced his enemy back towards his base, kept the aggression over on that other side of the map, and that's exactly where he wants it.
And look at the military numbers for DeMuslim.
Yeah, it's looking very healthy.
47. He's got so many archers there, but here come more knights from VortiX, and that's 2 more villagers down. VortiX at 42 villagers, DeMuslim at 45. Neither player really thinking about that second TC. It's all in military right now. And DeMuslim forced to defend another exposed resource.
I'd love to take a look from DeMuslim's perspective
never
now
mind.
as we see a second town center coming through from VortiX.
I like that.
I'd love to ride along with DeMuslim and just see exactly what he sees because typically in this situation it's going to be very pivotal as to how he responds to this and whether he scouts out that second town center.
Was he not aging up? I looked at his resources. I assumed DeMuslim was aging up there. But I guess he wasn't. He was just full on production. He needed it for defense.
I think you might be right. Now, the question is going to be as to whether he can actually spot out that second town center because that is a victory condition for VortiX. He can outboom. He does spot the second town center. He sees it. He knows that his time is now. If there was ever a time, it is now. I suspect he could even look to stay in age 2 and try and fight that. But keep in mind, he's obviously going to be going up against those armored enemy units. Those knights going to be doing so much work, but now picking up a couple of villages here as well.
Okay, so defending, never attacking. Your opponent is second TC. This is going to be a really rough spot for DeMuslim, and now he's slowly building up the res to finally go age 3, but the Lancers are all over his town center, and there's more on the left side, and he's just defending with age 2 units here. He can't afford to go up and keep creating.
Yeah, and he's throwing away units left, right, and center, unfortunately. We now see a couple of good trades coming out for him, but VortiX just so far ahead with regard to these smaller little trades. Villages now getting picked up as well. We see the villager swing start to happen. VortiX up about 6 villagers at this point, and he's going to look to continue building up that lead. VortiX looking very good, and no walls coming out from DeMuslim despite it making a lot of sense at this point.
It looks like Mongols. I mean, they had us in the first half. We thought they were bad, but as the tournament goes on, maybe their players are kind of practicing with them a little bit more and getting better and better. It's a good fight for DeMusliM, and he's going to follow this up with the archers. Still doesn't look like he's starting on his landmark, though.
Yeah, he's really struggling to get this one up, but we'll see how he looks to transition. He is staying heavily in the second age. Still no stone being mined either. A lot of wood being chopped, so could potentially look at that second town center. But yeah, at this point in time, he's going to be outboomed by his enemy very handedly.
Yeah, and he just got outmaneuvered too. He's coming across with a slow composition. He wants to keep his archers with his knights, and it looks like Vortex took his cavalry and looped it all the way around to that left side. We've got lots of spearmen here at the step readout ready, and there is the cavalry coming into the wood line. Does DeMusliM have anything here in defense? The answer is no. How many villagers is that running away? Too many, DeMusliM says, and he taps out. 3-1 for VortiX.
VortiX played it incredibly well that game. Very methodical, slow, steady, and that Khan. I mean, it just has to be the highlight of that game. That Khan was doing so much work, just chasing around units constantly. So very well played over to VortiX that game, and that takes him on to match point. So this could potentially be the final game in the series.
VortiX, he's playing better than he's played all tournament today. He's
very
super
strong.
clean. Yeah. And his civ picks have been on point too.
Not a single mistake coming out from him.
No.
At all this day. So very methodical. MarineLorD better watch out, because I tell you what, if VortiX overcomes DeMusliM today, then he's going to be looking incredibly strong.
You know, I heard, I think it was Nilly who told me today, 5 of the players he asked thought DeMusliM was one of the favorites to win the tournament as of today. They thought he was playing that good the last few sets. Obviously, he had a couple rough ones. The one against MarineLorD where he wasn't feeling that great, and then the one against TheMista, which easily could have been a 5-game series, even though it was 3-0 with the landmark snipes. And he was really, really playing well, and VortiX is showing why he's through here, why he's part of the top 6, and why he was one of, I think, one of the favorites coming into this tournament, maybe top 4.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of people expected it was either, I think, him, MarineLorD. I think Mista was up there as well, probably Viper as well at the time. But looks like there's just going to be a little bit of a break, so you guys will have to bear with us. We'll take a look and see what the maps, whether we've got a map for you guys. It's going to be LucifoN that comes up next. Now, keep in mind, one of these players has thrown away their Abbasid Dynasty pick already, so it means that you're probably only going to see at least, well, I guess at best, one Abbasid. But yet to pick the civilizations, Dave, coming into this, what do you expect it'll be with regard to civ picks?
Is it LucifoN?
It's LucifoN, yeah.
I think DeMusliM goes Abbasid.
Yep.
Right? And then VortiX. The question I've heard more often in the last 2 days is how to counter Abbasid, because people are very unsure on that. He used Mongols before.
Yep.
Mongols used by VortiX the last game. Potentially English, maybe?
Yeah, that is an option. Obviously, it's just so tough, I think, and especially on a map like LucifoN. Keep in mind they get the extra berry spawns there.
Yeah.
So typically, you know, Abbasid and Delhi, they're going to be feeling a little bit better on, you know, on maps that have got more of those berry spawns. And on this map, they get 5. So it makes it so difficult to counter. But I think you might be right. Definitely English is one way to do it. We've seen some really good play out of DeMusliM, where he actually goes for English, and he just does this tower push with longbows.
He did it against Beastyqt. It was really good.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So maybe we could see a few mind games. Maybe we could potentially see him bring out the English in this position, because he would know VortiX is going to be aware, okay, probably going to pick Abbasid. So let's begin the mind game. So you know I'm going to pick Abbasid.
Yep.
So you're probably going to look to pick X, and I guess at the moment X is a question mark, because not even we know.
I think the only X we can do is potentially on Rus being picked here.
Yeah, yeah. We could put
so he's got English, French, and Rus.
Yes.
Available to him.
Yeah. So yeah, looking at it now, he's obviously we've got you can see right there the civilizations that have been picked. So yeah, French, English, and Rus. You'd assume it's got to be the French, right? Oh,
I think it might be English, honestly. What maps do we have after this?
We have got,
We've got
Mongolian
Heights, which is Rus.
Rus Mirror.
Yeah.
We'll see a Rus Mirror in game number 7. And then the other option would be Altai, Hillendale, Highview. Could also be a Rus Mirror there. But you want to keep French for Highview, don't you?
Yeah.
So
I think it's English.
English, yeah. So English versus Abbasid, this map. Highview will be the next map where you would have French versus English, and then it would be the final game, Mongolian Heights, a Rus Mirror.
We're assuming that DeMusliM picks Abbasid as well.
That's true. Yeah, his English is very solid though. That's the thing. He could throw out an English here, and look for a potential English mirror.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's probably not a bad idea. He's got a very fearsome English. Yeah, we've seen the English come out for DeMusliM multiple times. It's been very, very strong. So I reckon he'd like his chances. He could potentially even throw out one of the classic siege towers.
Yep. So we've been told to fill a little bit of time here because they're taking a short break. This is a best of 7. We played 4 games already. Players need a bathroom break. So we should be back in 2 minutes now, something like that.
Yeah, not too long.
Yeah. You just have to stomach us.
And not
just
the
like
only
we
thing.
stomach #anchorkraut cooking.
You might be able to hear the clangs of the cutlery on
and
the plates.
And that's people getting food, and I'm very jealous.
Because we're not getting food.
I can see them. Yeah.
they're enjoying themselves.
It's not. Yeah.
So just keep in mind, down below the stream, so if you were to minimize us, so I'm thinking like over in that corner, if you hit the minimize button and head down, you will find a little picture which will take you through to where you can order those Anchorkraut goodies. They've got lots of good stuff. So here in front of me, I've got sour cream and onion, got chili flocken, and I've got, of course, the best.
Oh, it's on the back. I thought you just memorized all of them.
No.
I was like, wow, dude.
He's very good, yeah, the chili flocken.
I've got the different ones. I've got cake pop. Are these like granola-like ones? Are these like dessert flavor ones?
Cake pop. It sounds very... Do you dare open it?
It's like, it's sealed.
It's sealed, but...
It just looks so nice. I want to open it.
I feel like if there's an appropriate place to open, it's in front of 5,000 people. Mango Trom?
Sounds German.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds German or it sounds traumatic?
Bitter lemon tart.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'm going to need that one.
I want cake pop.
Okay, you go cake pop.
Yeah.
Can we get confirmation?
You've heard of K-pop, but have you ever heard of cake pop?
That's a really good point.
In a jar.
I'm looking over towards Nilly to see if we can get these opened. We could do a live test taste. Now that'd be interesting. But if you guys are interested in checking it out, there's obviously a lot of great stuff that they've got. So obviously, the more you support them, the more it supports us, and then the more likely they are to say yes to the next event. So if you'd like to see N4C too, make sure you check them out.
N4C too? No, it would be N5C, bro. There was 3 NACs before this.
But then you get N10C, N11C. It doesn't. It's going to start sounding like chemical compounds at some point.
Yeah, and then Nilly's too old to host gaming events. No, actually, Nilly's never going to be too old. Let's not lie to ourselves. He's never going to be too old to host gaming events. He's going to be 80 years old. Hello, hippo lovers.
Hello, hippo lovers. I'm curious what you guys think the matchup is going to be. Do you guys think it's probably going to be? Is it going to be Abbasid English? You got a couple of options there. I'll look over towards production. We'll get some civilization matchups on the screen. Maybe we could even get a poll. I don't know if we've got any mods in the chat as to whether it's going to be that. But the next game will be coming in very shortly. Players just finishing up their meals now, and they'll be heading back on in to fight it out. As you guys do know, there is a mandatory break for players of the game.
You don't get much of a break today either.
No, I don't.
You have 2 sets in a row today.
I do, yes.
Yeah, and then tomorrow it's gonna be Saturday. Tomorrow it's gonna be Omni, and plus you. Yeah,
yes.
You too.
But that is what I look forward to, Dave. It's waking up in the morning and watching some Age of Empires. People are definitely thinking it's going to be an English mirror.
MarineLorD is it? MarineLorD, chill, bro. I've been very nice to you here.
Why is DeMusliM playing and casting at the same time?
No, you can't say that, bro. You can't. You've been calling him ugly the whole time he's been here. You can't. I'm Team DeMusliM now. I'm not defending MarineLorD anymore. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Oh gosh. A lot of people in the chat definitely seem to think that it's going to be an English mirror though. So maybe they know something we do, or we don't rather. But I saw at least 5 people say English mirror, English mirror. But it looks like players now getting ready, waiting for the host at the moment.
He called us an execute. Me and him.
He called you a what?
Execute. Like
Like
the Pokemon.
Like,
Like eggs.
it's such... It's so wild, it might actually work. I see it. All right. We've got our picks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be... Rus versus Abbasid?
I said the only X we can count on is not picking Rus, but I guess VortiX is not going to go for Rus on Mongolian Heights if we ever get there. He's going to go for Rus on Lipany.
I don't think anybody expected this. Both of these guys, prolific English players, English enjoyers, I guess we could say. But yeah, game 5 going to be Lipany, Abbasid for DeMusliM. Definitely going to be heading into the game as a favorite, you'd say.
I think he picked this against his brother. One of the brothers picked it. One of them picked Rus on Highview, and one of them picked it on Lipany, I believe, or like Arabia or something. Oh, Highview and Hillendale. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah. You should have never checked Wikipedia. I could have been super confident in that. This guy's like, let's confirm. I'm like, no, don't confirm. That's my enemy. Stats, numbers, Wikipedia.
It
goes
says,
against everything I've ever said.
it says the page has just been updated, so maybe it was wrong. Maybe someone's gone to update it.
No, let's just leave it.
Oh gosh.
Let's just put it underground and leave it there.
So it's going to be Rus against the Abbasid dynasty here. Obviously, the Rus a little bit of an underdog in the current tournament. Not a very high pick rate. Normally just saved for maps like Highview if you have to, or Mongolian Heights as another alternative. What are we going to see from them today? Is it going to be a men-at-arms timing? Is it going to be an Age 2 push?
Honestly, I don't know what to expect with Rus here.
I think there's a couple options. The big one is obviously that that Archer Knight all-in that we do see them do. The issue is going to be that the Abbasid dynasty very capable defenders as well. Obviously, only having to pay 25 food for their villagers means that that's an extra 25 food for military units.
Aha, here we go. This view means that they're into the game and they're rolling already, and we should be joining them shortly. Thank you for staying with us as the players, you know, had their little breaks there, got a drink of water, and they're back at it once again. VortiX leading this series 3-1, and he's shown up today. The way he's played today has been extremely impressive, and we'll see if DeMusliM can respond. We've got the Abbasid for DeMusliM, and of course the Rus that we were talking about for VortiX.
And already we see a double scout coming out for VortiX. DeMusliM has one in the queue, ready to go. VortiX going to be spawning down to your south. He's playing in the color blue on the Rus. Up towards the north, it's going to be DeMusliM playing on the color red. And he's going to be playing as your Abbasid. So definitely heading into this map. The map is Lipany as probably the favorite. I'd give him about 65% chance to win this game. So that's my quick math.
It's such an interesting pick here, the Rus, because the 2 maps we have left, Highview, yeah, we have 2 maps after this, right?
Yep.
Highview and Mongolian Heights, generally considered the 2 best maps for the Rus.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of wild. Is he just like, you know what? I'm so confident with this pocket strategy that I've got.
Mind games.
I'm just going to win.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe, I guess it's impossible to know exactly what he was thinking, but who knows? If we do see him victorious this game, we may get to pick the brain a little bit and find out on the casting couch.
And look at DeMusliM. He's trying to snipe these deer at the last second. I think he got that one, and he got one before, too. So he's doing a good job, but obviously 2 scouts on the field. Sorry, 3 scouts now on the field from VortiX, so he's only delaying 1.
Yeah, so doing a pretty decent job at this point in time. VortiX up to 80 bounty. We'll do a quick assessment of the map and see how it flows now. Ideally, the Abbasid, they want to try and play a bit more defensive in this situation. We'll have a look at VortiX's position. Now, keep in mind, he's on the south side here. So he doesn't care too much about the map, but he does care about the relics, and he's already spotted out 2 of them, Dave.
Yeah, and he's actually over here finding a nice little patch of deer near his base. He also has the wolf chasing him. The bounty's already up to 160, so it's a decent start for him. 2.5 minutes into the game. And we can see what DeMusliM is focusing on. I think he added a second scout of his own.
Yeah, he has added in that second scout. The question is whether he even goes for some more. Up against the Rus, it makes a lot of sense to be getting out as many as possible. Golden Gate going to be going down now for VortiX. We'll be switching over very shortly. Oh, the new transition comes in.
The fade.
That was looking
the classic Star Wars fade, right? Like I'm in a cantina right now. Not this is enough.
DMCA. Going to be able to pick off that that scout as well. So denying quite a fair bit of the bounty coming through. So DeMusliM definitely doing well. He's going to be aging up now, so we can see that he's going up with the economic wing. You can only assume it'd be absolutely wild. Imagine if we saw like a trade wing come
I have
through.
some show match ideas.
You can't
for
go
Sunday.
economic wing.
I know. I just say I have ideas, and I've kept Nilly apprised of the situation. So in a warm up for the finals, we might see something a little bit exciting. I don't know yet.
I like the sound of that.
It's neither confirmed nor denied.
All right, we'll have to keep an eye out on that. But speaking of eyes out, VortiX definitely got his eyes out. He's got so much bounty already in. 285 coming through for him. This is before the 4-minute mark. He is doing absolutely insane.
Yeah, and let's check to see what the buildup is going to be for VortiX.
Do you think he goes second TC?
Well, we'll know if he goes up to stone pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Looks like it's going to be a second TC here for DeMusliM, though. We can see that he is adding in that stone mining. Mining camp going to be pulling in plenty of stone. Now that Golden Gate is finished, we see professional scouts coming in. So it could just be your stock standard fast castle. Obviously, a lot of the resources going to be spent towards that. We'll keep an eye out, though, on what his tickets do, whether he looks to sell the food, whether he looks to buy out some stone. But now harassing, classic Rus move right here, harassing villagers with the scouts. 3
scouts over here harassing them. He sees he's on stone, so no surprise there that DeMusliM is going for that second TC. And is nothing else being added in other than professional scouts here from VortiX? So just standard play.
He's going to add the stable, though. So definitely looking to maybe even just get 1 or 2 knights out. We've seen players do this. Now, you can also do it by adding...
Oh, we strapped one.
Oh, that's so painful right there. You can see the villager just trying its best to get it. It's an Abbasid villager as well, so you hear that beautiful voice line. Well, not beautiful, painful voice line.
Yeah, one villager. DeMuslim's not going to like losing her, and he's still got to go out to that stone with more with the non-weak villagers. He's even brought his scouts back to defend, and he's going for that barracks right away to help him gather the stone at the front and get that second TC up as soon as possible. And there's an archery range follow-up to that stable from VortiX. This is going to be H2 pressure here, and he's going to try and deny those external resources that DeMusliM needs to put the second TC on.
Yeah, interestingly, we see him dropping down gold, so it could be that he's looking for an H2 play here. This is quite smart. We've seen this coming out from a number of Rus players. I remember a bit earlier in the tournament, we did actually see a Rus game where they went for 2 TCs and still managed to make a lot of units. So we see that first knight moving across the field. Probably going to be horsemen coming out after maybe the 3rd or 4th knight. These first ones just going to be looking to get those villager kills.
We've seen every Civ against Abbasid try and get early damage, because otherwise you just die. Even with the Mongols trying to go for trade, you just die, right? Now I wonder if the Rus can get it done here, because there seems to be like pressure, but it's not early enough to deny the stone from DeMusliM already, and he's already got a barracks out.
Yeah, it's a great point. The fact that he's got the barracks out. When I saw that barracks, I said, oh, you can't be responding a barracks to the scouts. But obviously he was aware that there'd be a stable coming up back at home, and manages to get out a spearman in time. Villager almost going down there. Got to be so careful with that villager. He's actually going to send it back out. Typically, one of the things that players do, especially in Age of Empires 2, if you've got one of those low health villagers, keep it close to the town center. Makes it a lot safer. We see them typically building farms, but already moving out with these units.
I like the mobility there from the Knights, from the Rus player. He's going to be able to snipe villagers at the back, and that second town center is going to be on that wood line. So if he keeps coming back to the berries, this could be a recurring issue for DeMusliM. Another weak villager back there. He needs food. Even though villagers are half price, still needs food to produce military and keep up the 2TC production.
Yeah, he's doing a great job here. Going to be looping around, finds that low health villager and does manage to take it out. That's the first vill going down, second vill coming down as well. That's the consequence of leaving those low health villagers out there.
4 villager difference.
And that's just it. He picks up those huge villager kills when he could. It's just so simple.
Yep.
It's just so simple. It's frustrating to watch.
DeMusliM did gather enough gold initially, so he did get wheelbarrow. So his economy is a little bit more efficient, and I believe he's in the Golden Age Tier 1 as well.
Yep.
So with the Abbasid, your eco is going to be looking good. I just keep coming back to the question of food. He does have a few sheep under his town center, but if that berry patch at the back keeps getting harassed by these knights and he has no response to it, he could start running out soon.
Yeah, such beautiful control already coming in from VortiX. He's looking strong in this game. Keep in mind, this is the 5th game in the series. We are sitting on match point, so if VortiX wins this game, he will be going through to the semi-finals. So very, very strong opening for him. We do actually see a blacksmith coming up, and my sneaking suspicion is that there's probably going to be a battering ram or two.
Is it a blacksmith or oh yeah, blacksmith and another barracks. Or I guess is that the first barracks? I thought he had one before, but I guess that is the first barracks there.
Yeah, so first barracks here, going for that classic 1-1-1 build order. He's going to be now looking to harass this wood line, getting off a few kills here as well. A villager going down. So how many villagers have we already seen go down this game? 3?
I think that's 4.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was the one on the berries. There was, or no, 1 on the stone. There's 2 on the berries, and then that one on the wood line.
Yeah, a huge amount of villagers already starting to go down, and now scouts getting picked up in the middle of the map as well.
This is looking good for VortiX, honestly. Like against Abbasid, he's in a pretty good position. 32 vills. It's just about to even out. And he's got all the military incentive here. It's just whether DeMusliM can survive long enough for his eco to really start kicking in.
Yeah, you can see he is slowly but steadily catching up with that villager count. And DeMusliM now going to be going up against potential rams. We see that siege engineering coming through. Another villager goes down on the gold mine.
And back to the berries again.
Yeah, he's just doing so much work here. This is the consequence of having those knights. Going up against those knights in the second age, they're so damn strong. So hard to deal with.
Yeah, and all the spearmen need to be back here to deal with the knights, which means they can't deal with the knights at the front. And they couldn't even deal with those because there's a big ball of archers behind it. There's the battering ram, like you were saying. Where do you target with this ram first?
Definitely going to be this second town center.
Okay.
Yeah, this second town center is going to be going down very quickly. So, especially coming into this matchup, you'd know that the Rus is kind of it's a little bit. You got to be really careful going up against the Rus because you never know what they're going to do. They can do 2 town centers in H2. They can go for the fast battering ram like we've seen here. And because of that, you kind of want to keep the second town center behind your first town center. Yep. But it's going to give VortiX such an easy target here, such an easy victory. And I suspect he's probably going to be looking to trade out villagers for this battering ram. So he doesn't mind if it dies. He doesn't mind if that town center stays alive. The big thing for him is killing those villagers, though. And we see those archers now moving up to protect those villagers. And Phalanx has come out from DeMusliM, so he's going to be looking to go
also
into
adding camel
spears.
archers here.
I think it's a good move.
Especially with so many knights on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, now we see the second battering ram coming down. Now keep in mind, every battering, typically in this situation, what you want to do, research textiles, which is exactly what DeMusliM is doing. After that is researched, then you're going to be looking for an engage. So you want to be putting your 10 villagers in that town center, pop them out right on top of that battering ram, and that's when you want to be looking to do that damage and pushing in at the same time. So we'll see how he looks to do it, but this second town center highly likely goes down now with 2 battering rams here.
I'd like to see a few more archers forward from VortiX. It seems like the spearman number is just getting so high there for DeMusliM. The villagers now pop out. They're starting to work on the rams here. The rams have to back away, but one of them goes down. The second one is at risk too. He's sniping down spearmen. The camel archer is behind, but all DeMusliM wants to do is save that TC location and keep his eco rolling.
He did it. I mean, it looked very good. Now, he did go very low on wood there. He went to -1 wood, but he's picked up a whole bunch of it since he's done that. You can see he's floating up about 100 wood at the moment. We see a third battering ram coming in now as well. Looks like VortiX very intent on sticking to this play. Still, we only see 1 town center behind this, I suspect. Keep in mind, obviously, going up against as the Rus, you can very easily get those second town centers out just because they can trade it. But yeah, looks like it's just going to be 1 town center play. So DeMusliM still looking strong. If he holds this, he can definitely win this game.
VortiX has found the perfect place to sit with his archers there behind the wood line. So if DeMusliM comes out with the villagers, he's going to get sniped down by that. But now the spearmen are coming in, and this is the production we were talking about with the Abbasid. Once they build up that eco enough, and the spearmen are just diving in against the archers. Villagers taking out that ram behind. We've got the camel archers shooting as well, but now DeMusliM needs to go back. He's killed another ram, though.
Yeah, he's looking really good in this position. We can see he's starting to build up a decent villager lead, 7 villagers. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier is that he needs to be trading out these rams for villagers. That's the whole trick to this. It's okay to lose the rams. It's okay for the town center to survive.
I think he killed like 1 maybe in this whole exchange.
The micro has been very on point from DeMusliM. His timings have been immaculate. And now we begin to see him moving up towards the north. Obviously needs that food income.
Yeah.
Notices that the berry's going to be going down soon. But keep in mind, without those villagers near the town center, it's going to potentially open them up.
If you're in Vortex's point or position, you've only seen spearmen and a few camel archers from your opponent. You're trying to bait the villagers out. It feels like you can do all of this with the archers. Send the knights around to the other side, because you know DeMusliM needs to have another wood line, and he's running way out there to the right side. Yeah,
that's a great point. But now we see those spears coming in, and keep in mind those spears do have that phalanx. We see it looks like they went for a bit of a bug there with the charge on the knights. So got to be careful there. But villagers got to be able to connect with the battering ram. First one goes down. Second battering ram getting absolutely demolished. All those Molotovs getting thrown into that battering ram.
Villagers finally dying. Villagers finally dying here.
And now not a lot of spears either. Spears getting completely cleaned up, but at the same time, DeMusliM going to be very happy with these trades. It sounds like a second, a third villager does go down. So he trades out a couple. You can see the villager count now starting to dwindle. There's a difference of 4 between these two players, but keep in mind, VortiX doesn't look like he's going age 3. Doesn't look like he's added a second town center right now. And we did see a little bit of a scratch on the face there.
Yeah.
Knows it might not be a good position he's in.
The problem I had there is that the Knights were waiting for a perfect engagement like that, but they weren't fighting before that. So there was like 3 minutes of idle time for the Knights, just using them for positioning. And we saw in those minutes, DeMusliM stretched out his eco to that wood line at the back, to the berries over at the side. If those Knights had shown up there, he has to pull military back to deal with those, and he has to pull villagers away as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of villagers out on that mill as well. As you mentioned, if we saw a couple of Knights go out towards that position, it'd probably be a good game called in a second. But now, heading out towards that position, we see a single Knight looking to try and make his money's worth.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. And double ram again, and now when that Knight hits, DeMusliM is going to have to react on this left side, and there might be an opening where he's not paying attention on the right for the Knight to do damage. Or he needs to pull additional military, which means he can engage against this massive army from VortiX in the middle. VortiX still creating archers, looks like only archers, spearmen, and a whole army is chasing that one Knight, and that's going to give him a fantastic opportunity. Ooh. I believe the second town center is going to go down here.
It does indeed go down. So finally, VortiX looking to put on a bit of hurt. Now, obviously, DeMusliM up by about 9 villagers at this point, so he's managed to get a little bit of value out of it. But at the same time, you'd have to be worried about this. No second town center coming through from VortiX at this point in time.
Ran the houses down. Perfect.
Yeah, great
momentum killer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, he can't make military if he's housed. But yeah, huge difference in military size at this point. DeMusliM down about 18 units, and a lot of these ones are archers as well, so very difficult to deal with. No real way to do it or deal with it in the second age when you've got this screen of Knights as well to be running. And now, once again, we see a Knight in a bit of a tough spot.
Someone call an ambulance, but not for me, as the villagers surround him. And how many villagers is that attacking that Knight? Oh my goodness. We've got so many there. We got 15, but on the other side, in the main part of his base, completely ignoring that starting town center, and is just going to loop around to that wood line. Got some fantastic scouting with the one Knight earlier. DeMusliM now running away from this area. Where is the army from DeMusliM?
Yeah, I think it might have been chasing away that Knight, but now we see it coming from underneath. Keep in mind, he's only got 25 military units, but it looks like he's got absolutely none out on the field at the moment. Campbell's going to be coming in, expensive units. Very, very careful to trade those ones. And now villagers getting pulled. You can see that barracks probably going to be going down
here. This might be the series here. Honestly, this might be the series. Great play with the roost from VortiX. Let's see if DeMusliM can take out this ram and clear out this army. And even if he does, he's going to lose a lot of villagers doing it.
Yeah, these villagers just continue going down. We can see VortiX actually takes the villager lead. He's up to 52 villagers at the moment. DeMusliM still trying to hold on, but the population difference now is really starting to show. You can see that DeMusliM Oh, he's having a tough time right now. Is once again going to be running those villagers off the wood line. I think this might be a good game, Dave.
Yeah, he can't take the wood. He couldn't take the wood forward earlier. He can't take this one now. He's struggling. He's like, do I go to berries? Do I go to wood? What do I need? He needs wood. He's only got 14 in the bank currently, and another ram being built. And Vortex is going to use this to bait army in once again. We've got a knight, I believe, looping around the top, looking for that deer patch or that berry patch that he knew was there. He's going to show up to the berry patch in the north side with that knight, and those villagers are super exposed, and he finds the deer on the other side. I believe we're getting close to the 4-1 for Vortex, unless DeMusliM can pull something out of a hat.
Yeah, I suspect once a siege tower comes out, it is going to be good game typed in, because there's nothing more demoralizing than a siege tower in the base when you are just losing your units. But now we see those battering rams taking down the houses, and just look at these villagers just absolutely getting massacred. A huge amount of villagers now going to get picked up as well. He's run them into the army of his enemy. A little bit of a mistake right now, and DeMusliM falling apart. It's not looking pretty for him, Dave.
Asking how to punish the 2TC boom from Abbasid. Players were asking that question, and Vortex has come up with an answer here. Maybe DeMusliM could have done things a little bit differently in the TC placement. Maybe he could have defended a little bit better earlier, but Vortex with incredible military numbers, incredible production, 49 units on the field, 32 for DeMusliM, and you have to favor the composition of Vortex's army.
Keep in mind, behind this, he's got a huge economy, much bigger than DeMusliM's. He's managed to take out so many villages up towards that north position. Now, it's a very easy to wall position as well. That's one of the things to note, but obviously just really lacking wood because he was constantly healing up that town center, so it meant he couldn't wall that in. And now we continue to see him hunting after these military production buildings.
I think DeMusliM has to take a chance here. I don't think he can sit at home with his military.
You think he's going for a base trade?
Like, what else do you do in this situation? You can't defend against that with your military. And generally, if you can't defend against something with your military, you got to go forward with some of it at least. Maybe some camel archers or something forward.
Maybe you take all of your villagers and just go for it. I think that's the play. You cash in everything.
What, the Mr. Landmark snipe?
Mr. Landmark snipe. He's got plenty of villagers. Keep in mind, he's got 38 villagers here.
You get enough wood to make a ram along the way?
Go for it. Yeah, you're playing the Abbasid dynasty, you can do it. But I think that's definitely a play that he can make, and it looks like villagers now are going to be moving out. He might be going for one final defensive position here. He's going to be coming in, villagers moving up towards that position, but now we see the Rams just doing so much work. He's cleaned up the entirety of this base.
Are they going out to food on the left side? Where is he going with those villagers? The horsemen trying to engage against the Rams. Maybe he feels like horseman spam is his only way out of this. I think he was dropping some more stables, and he's on the hunt now to the left-hand side. 400 wood in the bank. He's pulled all of his villagers off that onto that hunt. We've got 61 villagers for Vortex, 40 villagers for DeMusliM.
Vortex just overwhelmingly everywhere. It's crazy how good he is. He's just on top of DeMusliM. Everywhere he goes, we saw that those villagers moving out towards that position, and immediately that knight was there. Even though there were units there, it was still looking to...
And pretty soon he's not even going to have Golden Age. Watch. It's going to go down to 0 again.
Yeah, you're 100% right. This is so tough for DeMusliM. It's make it or break it at this point. You can see that the villager lead, still about 20 difference. He has built a fair amount of military. He's got lots of horsemen coming out, so if there's ever been a time, it's now. But he does have +1 defense on range, so these guys are going to be doing quite well. It looks like he is going to be making a play right now. We see the knights now beginning to screen for the archers on the back line. At the same time, the horsemen going to be looking to try and come through. A couple of spears getting thrown in the mix as well, but not a lot. Horsemen actually looping around, doing a pretty decent job. It looks like the House of Wisdom going to be falling down here, Dave.
House of Wisdom falling down and just send the Rams towards the town center. I mean, you got 5 Rams there, although DeMusliM with a big army. He's done a good job to build up this military, and maybe he has a chance to wipe this up. Maybe this is his opportunity to get back into the game. The camel archers are there, the archers are there, the spearmen are in front, the Rams are being pulled back, the archer mass is still alive for Vortex though, and he's still 20 villagers ahead. No House of Wisdom.
Yeah, this is really tough because now he's going to have to repair up that House of Wisdom, even if he wants to age up. And you can see he's got plenty of resources in the bank, but just not a lot of wood. And now holding against that, he manages to take out a lot of military, but I don't know whether it's been enough.
Rams once again just trying to bait units, and DeMusliM is going to have problems replacing these. He's got no gold right now, limited wood income. He's all in on food.
And once again, we see DeMusliM under potential attack down towards the south, those berry bushes. VortiX was looming with his knights, just coming around the edge and forcing DeMusliM back. But now it looks like a little bit of an engagement towards the town center, and you can see the battering rams working towards that town center. If that town center goes down, it will be good game, and you won't even get a chance to type it because you will be knocked out completely. And you see these archers doing a great job of just sniping.
The patience here from VortiX to even pull those rams away. Like, you feel like you're in such a winning position. You know what you've killed, right?
Yeah.
A lot of players would just keep those rams attacking the TC, but he baits the villagers out. He causes more idle time. Look, they're just sitting there.
Yeah, and it's such a difficult position. We see that VortiX right now, 69 villagers. DeMusliM only 46, so very nice from VortiX. Also looks like he might be going up to the next stage as well.
So many vills now. The entire economy pulled to wood here. DeMusliM fully realizing the situation he's in. He's going to lose his archers, and then once the archers are gone, I mean, the villagers are just free pickings here. VortiX is playing incredible, like he's played all set. DeMusliM is somehow still alive. But what's his win condition now? To his opponent to go AFK for?
Yeah, I think either a disconnection is probably going to be his number one.
We're on a LAN event, so that's...
Yeah, that's not going to work. All right, they are sitting opposite each other, so maybe like a cable pull could work for him.
Ah, the old-fashioned cable pull, circa 1999.
Yeah, we've all been there.
I see.
You target the blue cable and you'll always be victorious, but short of that, I don't see how he's going to pull this one back.
Archers once again. How many of those archers have VortiX lost this game? Not many. He's done a great job keeping them alive and keeping the knights in front too.
And remember early when the push came in, you made a remark about how he had a great spot next to that wood line as he was pushing on the TC. Those archers are the same archers that are here right now. He's kept them alive for so long. He's been immaculate with control. Even though we saw a pretty big horseman mass that was pushing in and looking to take that out, he just ran a perfect screen with the knights and was able to keep them all alive.
DeMusliM's food, he had 1,000 in the bank. It's all gone into production here. Remember, his House of Wisdom is still not up. So even if he wanted to click up, he can't.
Yep.
He's going to go out and kill another ram, but a second ram being built currently, and all the time he spends attacking this is free hits from the archers on his units. DeMusliM has 4 units queued right now, sorry, 5, and there's men-at-arms coming now from our Roos players. So these men-at-arms are going to be incredibly difficult to kill.
Yeah, but now we see those horsemen moving into the stealth forest. A little bit of difficulty with our visibility here, but looks like he does get repelled, so VortiX looking incredibly strong, going to be able to stabilize, and as you mentioned, once those men-at-arms come in, it's going to be so hard to stop them. The men-at-arms have actually got the +1 ranged upgrade, +2 now just coming in. These guys are going to be taking absolutely no damage from these archers. This is really bad for DeMusliM. I suspect we might have a good game tapped out any second. He knows he can't stop those men-at-arms.
I'm going to take the fight. If I win, maybe I have a chance. I'm going to lose anyway if I just keep picking away like this, and all the archers are going to go down. Men-at-arms will rip everything else. He'll be on the berries. Good game gets called, Dave. Oh my goodness, what a performance there from VortiX. 4-1.
Really well played. A lot of people coming into this series expected a 4-3, even DeMusliM potentially winning, but VortiX looking very dominant there.
I think he, honestly, outdrafted him in almost every single game, and then that last game, outplayed.
Yep. Yeah, it was beautiful outdrafting. I mean, they played a nice mirror matchup where he outplayed him. And then at the same time, I mean, we saw that Abbasid game. There were definitely some times where it looked like DeMusliM had a pretty decent draft, but unfortunately not going to be successful there. So getting knocked out, that's it from DeMusliM. You won't be seeing any more from him with regard to games, but obviously VortiX, he'll be moving through to the semifinals. So congratulations going over to him.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance. He showed up to play today. He played, I think, much better than the other days.
Yep.
I think he showed up with his A game, and he really proves it here. A lot of the players here thought DeMusliM was the favorite to go through. I thought DeMusliM, based on his last couple sets, was the favorite to go through.
Definitely.
But VortiX proving that he's here to stay, and DeMusliM will be eliminated. VortiX will go on to the semifinal. I believe he faces
Beasty.
Okay.
So he's going up against Beastyqt in the semifinals. That'll be tomorrow. I don't have a time for that just yet, but I suspect that it's going to be around the same time as now.
Wikipedia, my man.
Wikipedia knows everything. We will check. Oh, yeah, you can see it right here. It is going to be at 20 CET. How does Wikipedia know this stuff? They're so good. They just know. But that is going to be it with regard to DeMusliM and VortiX. We've got an interview coming up, Dave.
I've got an interview.
You're going to go get comfy on the casting couch.
I'm going to go get comfy.
All right.
Congratulations, man. 4-1. Did you expect that?
Thank you. Well, I mean, I believed in my chances. Like, I was really confident going into the series. But of course, DeMusliM is super good, and you always expect to drop some maps. So maybe 4-2 was what I had in mind,
Yeah.
or 4-3. But I felt really good today. It was 4-1, and I think it could have been 4-0 with just a little bit of better decision making that game.
It feels like you kind of outdrafted him with the civilizations in most of the matchups. Did you ever like a really clear idea of what he was going to pick in every single map, and you were tailoring your civ picks towards that?
Yeah, so basically I think he only practices ladder, and it's very easy when someone only plays ladder and streams all the time to see what 2 or 3 civs are his best on every map. So I was quite confident on like what he would be picking. Like I had my ideas, but honestly I didn't feel like the draft was obviously good, but I didn't feel it was that good. Like I think I feel like I played really well today, and maybe he was a bit nervous because he was like losing too many builds all games. Yeah, I wouldn't say this was like a draft win. Like for example, I had against Leenock. I think I just played pretty well today.
Yeah. First game, Holy Roman Empire against Chinese. I believe you got walled out from a couple of those relics, and then you lost a prelate to the Barbican too. Were you confident at that moment, or were you just kind of looking for opportunities?
Yeah, so basically I was scouting him all the time, so
Yeah.
I know he's not making a second TC. So as long as I get 1 or 2 relics, I should be fine. That's what I thought.
Well played, mate.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I wasn't too scared when I lost my prelate because I already secured like 2 relics very early. So in my head, I was super ahead because he wasn't adding second TC, which is kind of weird because he was picking stone, but then I also guessed, okay, he just wants to make like forward keep with it. So I was always like scouting his villagers, seeing if they go out. So I actually felt really in control of that game since I got the first relic.
Second game, you picked Chinese against Viper, and you went forward Barbican, and then you went into Outpost. Did you expect Viper to pick HRE in that matchup, and were you kind of like testing that strategy?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting him to pick Holy Roman like Viper. I just wanted to try the strat.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, no matter what he picks, I will just use this game to try it. Not that I was taking him lightly, of course. I mean, he's super good, but I thought that since I was already qualified, I should try some strategies that I might want to do later because it's also some mind games, right? Like you are already through, so why would you throw in some strategies that you want to play actually?
But then you used it again
But
today.
then I used it because I was like, okay, he won't be expecting it. And he actually wasn't because he wasn't scouting with his scout if I was pulling villagers out. But yeah, against Holy Roman, it's actually pretty good. Against Delhi as well. But I mean, everyone bans Delhi because it's super good in every map. So yeah, I think the strategy overall seems to be strong. Credit to B for it. Obviously, it's his trademark strat.
Third game, I think it was Abbasid against Mongols. What went wrong for you in that matchup? Because that's something that we've seen Abbasid really excel with here at this tournament. You kind of fell off to the Mongol pressure in Castle Age. What happened?
So basically, if I'm not mistaken, I lost 2 builds to the Khan. Which, of course, I didn't realize because there's like so much signals going on when your opponent is tower rushing. There's like signals everywhere, so it's hard to notice. And I think I lost 2 builds to the Khan, and that's why I was a bit behind. I think my pressure was okay, but I actually needed like an earlier market to make Castle Age like 30 seconds sooner. And I think if I can keep the pressure and just get Castle Age timing decently, I think I can make crossbows and stop the all-in. Like I think my reaction to the tower rush was actually quite good. I first made the expansion and then the ram. Actually, I didn't even need a ram, but like I think sometimes you will get like too scared that you will try to make a ram before the expansion. I think my reaction was good, but I just needed to get castle earlier and make crossbows. So yeah, I was actually a bit pissed on that game because I think if I had just a little bit of better decision making, I should have won it also.
The next game was Mongols against French. Are you comfortable in that matchup?
Honestly, like coming into the tournament, I was comfortable, but I actually, the more I played lately, I feel like it's a kind of 50-50 or maybe
Yeah.
60-40 for the Mongol. But I think he just didn't find any sheep in early game.
Well,
Like he
you,
found 3.
you helped with that.
Yeah, and I killed 3 of them. And from then it's very awkward for the French because he has to go pro scouts no matter what.
Yeah.
So I get pikes, I delay it, he has to go on berries. And from there I think the game was like super one for me. And then he didn't react very well to the raids, so yeah, I was super in control of that game.
And then the last game, picking Roos on Lipany, was this a prepared strategy? Did you assume that he was going to go Abbasid there?
Yeah, I basically thought it was either Abbasid or English. But with the 2 maps left, I thought it would be awkward for him to pick English, so I was expecting it kind of. But I think even against English, Roos is okay, so I wasn't too scared. All I knew was that he wasn't going to pick Roos because there was Mongolian still left. And I have no clue how to play Roos Mirror, but the other 2 matches are good, so I thought Roos is safe pick for me there.
And what's the approach with Roos there? Like, what's your win condition early in the game against Abbasid?
Well, I mean, the moment you spot like his second TC forward, I think it's pretty obvious. You just go ram, push, and it should be really easy. And then he also lost like some builds early on, so I was like super confident this is gonna work. Actually, I made a mistake, which I started making pikes before seeing the stables, because I was kind of expecting pike horseman, because it's like the standard and what he does. But even then, I think I was so ahead. I delayed the expansion quite a lot with 3 scouts attacking the stone villagers. And then he makes TC forward, and it's pretty much over, I think.
Are you playing, because that set was super impressive. It felt like you were playing better than you've played here in your previous sets today. Do you think you're playing the best that you've played in Age of Empires 4? Or do you think there's still like another level that you can reach?
I think today I managed to play my best. Like, I don't think I played better than what I do back at home, but I felt really well every game. I was taking right decisions in pretty much every game, and I was microing well. So, yeah, I think this is the best I can play. Let's see if it's enough to make it farther.
Are you confident against Beasty? Is it someone that you can match up well against?
I think his style is a bit harder for me than, for example, the DeMusliM style. But I think I can beat him. Yeah, for sure. I've done in the past.
Score prediction?
Let's say 4-2.
4-2. Okay, you heard it here first. Thank you so much, VortiX, and congratulations, man. You're through. You're going to be playing in the semifinals against Beasty, and then whichever one of you goes through plays against... Well, I guess we don't know yet. We're about to find out in our next best of 7, but get some hype in the chat here for VortiX. He came here with his brother. He made it through, and he's going to be playing in the semifinals tomorrow. So great job there. We're going to play some highlights now from that exciting set. Stay tuned for our next best of 7 after.